Good morning, this is the
I can't
Township
even see
Finance
you.
Committee, meeting at Town Hall and remotely, calling the meeting to order at 10:03 a.m. As we have remote members, we'll do a roll call attendance.
Carol Hofstas present.
Mary Jane Churchville present.
Sam Grant present.
Ron Hayes present. With that, we have 4 members attending. We have a quorum, so we will continue on the agenda. This meeting is being recorded. It can be played on Channel 9, as well as it will be available on YouTube for viewing. And Sam, as we get into the next session, and Joan Bezikas is here, so we're doing the voice roll call.
Hi.
Hi, oh, good, how are
Carol
you?
Bezikas present.
Thank you. Now we have 5 members, so ready to go. Do we want to?
Want me to check out?
Oh, okay. Okay, so next item, additions or deletions. I had nothing that came in that needs to be added to the agenda at this point.
Do you have a copy? Yeah, I know it's up there, but do you have a copy of the agenda that I could have?
I know.
Oh, here. Did I have a copy?
I didn't.
Wait a minute.
No, I didn't print a copy of the agenda. It was short, so I didn't think it was.
I think you'll be a little troll.
Oh,
or
I
something.
guess I didn't have
That's
it.
all right,
I
no
thought I
problem.
had an extra copy.
I'll just read it and then see
You want
it.
me to go down and get one?
No,
Okay, I'll get forward on this.
just let me know what it says.
So we've gone through the preliminaries with, in section, and now we're going to move to, section 2, first item, section 2, the review ARPA projects, the spending to date and the estimated, at our last meeting, we had the concern about ARPA funding, so I'm going to switch over and share the file. These files are in front of everybody in the room. We did print them out. Hold them up just a little bit in case you look at the screen. We'll do some work on the screen. Okay, so that's a little bigger for those that may be viewing. I guess I had fixed it. That's weird. Okay, so we had received, I'm going to flip over to the picture of what we had received. We had received a to-date expenses as of August 6th, and we looked at it. And at our last meeting, we had the concerns about that on the bottom line. It appeared as though there was $829,000 of ARPA money unspent. Because this is put together with the as of date, so I'm going to jump back to the ARPA spending that we had. Maybe I'll shrink it just a little bit to get it. So line by line, columns A through J are exactly they're on a separate worksheet, or a separate page.
This
On
one
the
here?
first page, this is what we have. This is spending through
That's the page. you have?
August 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the page.
Okay.
So that's spending through August 6th of this year. Showing the number is going to be off by a single dollar. It has to be a result of dollars and cents. The cents aren't shown in the picture, so when I entered them, I rounded it out to whole dollars, and it is on the third line. There was a dollar difference.
The wellness program, is that the one?
The wellness program. So when we look at the picture, I'll jump back to that. The wellness programming showed $165,364
Available?
Right, and when you look on the line that I did, the available is 165, 363. So that's the dollar difference between them. And it's got to be just, like I say, the cents aren't shown. So I couldn't do exact, I just did the round numbers that were showing on paper. It's not, again, it's not gonna be a big issue that it gets us.
I don't think people care about the dollar cents. I think they care about the big number.
They care about the big number. So, with that, so that's our spending to date and the upper projects that had been defined.
So this is money that is still available.
As of.
Over
August-
here.
As of August 6th.
What about as of,
Okay, so now we have through November,
okay,
but we have to also take it out to FY 26 and 27,
Oh, we're going
Which
to
is-
27.
the other sheet. Halfway-
27?
halfway through fiscal year 27, which is December 31st of 2026, we spend this money. So
21 by 2026. So what's the difference between available and remainder?
so
So let's take line one, where it says.
okay, so if we look at columns A through J, which I didn't print the columns, but that's the first full sheet that goes all the way out
Mhm.
with the title.
okay.
This is what we had spent through August 6th. Now, if we look at the next sheet, if you want to put it side by side,
Mhm.
bend over the column, you'll see that I carried it out.
Oh, I see.
Oh, 25 is 58,915,
Okay,
26
so-
is 65,
Right,
and 27,
Wow.
oh yeah,
And-
because
and-
27 would be fiscal 26.
no.
No,
The second half of calendar year 2026 is the first half year of fiscal year 2027. So maybe what I should do is
No,
put the
it's good, I
put the
got it.
dates in here.
No, no,
That reflect those. So fiscal year 26 is gonna be July 1st of 25 through June 30th of 26, and FY 27 is your fiscal year 27 starts July 1st of 26 and goes, and the funds have to be used by December 31st.
so they have to be all spent.
They have to be all spent by that time.
By December 31st, 26.
Correct.
So in
What-
the meantime, they can be allocated.
They can be allocated, and if they're for something that is like a salary, and we see that on the first two lines. Now, again, what I did is, these are estimates. I took the salary that was in FY 24, subtracted how much we had paid through August, and put the remainder in column K, which is the remainder of FY 25, which is your Q2 through Q4. So basically 3/4 of the year is that number. Then I did a full for FY 26, the full salary,
Uh-huh.
and then I did half of the
I
FY 26
see, yeah.
number in 27. So
So
those,
that gives us 39,000
correct.
remaining based on what they're working on now.
So is that 39,000 extra?
Right.
I don't know.
It could be $39,000 extra. So we had the allocated number in the beginning, which was the 336,600. And again, we don't know what the salary exactly is, but these are my estimates. And again, I did run them by Nelson, just as round numbers. So this is the work he's doing right now with the town accountant to come up and look at, is there money to be moved? If we look at the second line,
Wellness coordinator wages?
the wellness coordinator wages.
So it's in
Was that
parentheses?
ARPA funding?
Okay, the parentheses will mean that line goes negative if my estimates are right. Now, the other part of this is we are trying to pick up some of these salaries in the operating budget. So whether it's minus 67 or not, this is the analysis that Nelson is going through, and if I wasn't clear, at the November 19th Selectmen's meeting, Nelson has received the task to look at the whole ARPA list, see where we are, look and see if there's any money that will be available. So what he's doing is a real deep dive on this. This is just where we were. I'm trying to think of the conversation. It was 19, so it was probably about the 21st or 22nd we had it. So it was four days ago. He's a week from coming up with the real final plan. So on December 2nd at the Selectmen's meeting, we will present the real ARPA funds with the deep dive.
Okay,
So this
so
was
this
to
really is,
this was to put us at ease that the money is being looked at.
okay.
And it may or may not be realistic, or, you know, some of these estimates may be.
So what is the date? What is December 2024? Is there a date, a deadline date?
There is a deadline date that all of the ARPA money has to be either spent or allocated to projects. If it's allocated with a project or a contract, the contract has to be signed by those dates. If there's salaries, it can proceed to be used for the salary until December 31st of 2026.
Okay, so just
So
to be
it's gonna
clear,
be
just to be clear.
Yep.
At the end of December, in
This year.
34 days, or
Yes.
however many,
right.
this ARPA account is supposed to be all straightened out as to spent money and allocated money.
Correct.
And they haven't worked on it yet, and
They-
it's almost December 1st?
Well, we didn't have an operating board of selectmen for 6 weeks. It probably would have been worked on at that time. So,
I just remember a couple of those meetings where, the Board of Selectmen said they weren't gonna discuss it this time, they weren't gonna discuss it this time, they weren't gonna discuss it this time.
Yeah.
So is there a time they might wanna discuss it?
December 2nd.
Okay?
So
sounds good.
they're trying to come up with the final list to be presented to the Board of Selectmen at the December 2nd. It's on the agenda
Okay,
for the 2nd, and it is, I had thought I had seen at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been posted for 6 o'clock on the calendar.
it's 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock at what day?
It's a 6 o'clock, December 2nd.
So let's just say that Nelson gets this done
Mhm.
and we go to that selectman, we're not gonna be able to see it before the selectmen or make any kind of advisory position, we won't have any advisory position, will we?
I don't believe so, but, you know, there is, we can ask for a copy of it. It should be available before the meeting, not on the morning of the 2nd. But we don't have a meeting scheduled, and we don't have a joint meeting
Right, we
scheduled.
don't, that's right, so,
I,
so we won't have information.
Yeah.
I get it.
So do we know what wellness programming is? That's a lot of money for, what are we getting
Mhm.
for all that money? Do we know what we're getting for
I do
184,000?
not off the top of my head.
is Nelson in?
Nelson is in the office.
That's, I don't know.
I don't know either. And, I know that, I don't know, there's a
Is it
couple
job
of positions
description?
here that I'm concerned about that I'm not really sure that they're either paying too much money for, or we don't need it at all. I just can't make up my mind.
Okay, well, probably,
Well, maybe if we knew what they did, we could make that decision.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah,
we
you're
don't
right.
know the information,
Yeah, so we
But-
better
but
I
get
can't make an adjusted
So
position.
we
Well, you
need
can
to
go
see.
down in money, but you can go down, but you really should go up.
Well, you can go away.
Well,
well,
well, this
yeah,
is very true.
true. I
So we
know,
need to see what that job description is.
Can we call him in? I mean,
We can see.
well, I don't know, is it's the wellness programming, is that a position or is that like,
well, we've never been told. And I guess we should have asked.
But there's two things, there's the wellness coordinator wages and the wellness programming.
well, she must,
Right.
or
And
he
the
or
programming
she
is very
must be the
expensive too.
coordinator of the programming, whatever that
That's
is. but-
$7,000, $700,000 for that.
Yeah,
It'd be nice
Um,
to know what it is.
If
The
the
combo.
estimates, they could be cutting down on it. It's kind of like if we look at what was spent in the first 2 months of this year, it was only $2,600. So if that estimate went the other way, and instead of taking the money spent in FY '24, and I used,
That's a lot of money.
that,
$700,000, it's almost
So-
a trash.
and again,
yeah,
well,
Yeah.
but
right.
Well, I understand, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of, so again, if we look at, well, August 6th is only 1 month, so that'd be times 12. As a rough estimate, so we don't know, if we extrapolate out from column H, the FY '25 money spent through August 6th, and say that's a month worth of spending in July, multiply it by 12, it's only 31,656 for the year.
but I think we should know what it's for. So Affordable Housing Trust got $100,000.
Right.
Now, as I understand the ARPA process, is that there's supposed to be an accountability for these funds that are allocated and spent.
Yeah.
Based on what ARPA requires, which
Correct.
is kind of a matrix, I guess, of how they extrapolate what we're doing and if we're doing it right or wrong.
Right,
Who
yeah.
handles that?
That is outsourced. It's ARPA Project 5, it's the ARPA reporting.
Who does that?
ARPA reporting?
And I forget the name of the company this morning. I forget who they hired to do that. It's not anybody within the town, because it would add,
Independent
it's an
reporting.
independent reporting.
We can manipulate whatever we want around. And does the government do that?
We're not Macy's.
Now, and who do they report to? Do they report to the government and that, or us? Or-
They will report to us
Oh, okay.
and those reports get submitted to the state, because they're the ones that are watching the money.
The state's watching the money?
Yeah, that's one of them, and the federal government. I mean, those entities that have divided out the ARPA money and assigned it to each town are responsible for watching it and returning it.
Who is the wellness coordinator? What does that person say?
It's changed frequently, and I'm currently not sure who
Why
it is.
has it changed frequently?
Other positions have opened up in other towns and people have left.
Oh,
So,
It's kind of,
all right, now,
So-
do we have jurisdiction over this at all, or is this like out of our hands?
it's really out of our hands, but it came to our attention, and so we want to make sure the town was using it, and that we weren't leaving money on the table, which Nelson has assured me is that.
So
I-
John,
yeah.
the question I have deep inside is that
Mhm.
you can make numbers work any way you want. As we all know.
Mhm.
How do we know that we're actually getting the service that's on the paper that they've, or do we care?
Well, I think.
I mean, we as
Yeah.
a committee, I guess, because we care as taxpayers.
We care as taxpayers, but, this has been managed by the Board of Selectmen. If there were questions, we need to bring them to theirs. And I just want to highlight one of the conversations that Nelson and I had specific to, was offer number 4, the online permitting. You'll see that it was set to $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And to date, we have only spent $6,352,000.
that's a lot of money left.
That's a lot of money left.
Can we claim that money for other things?
It is being claimed for other things.
What? We know what?
Not yet. That's the list that Nelson is working and preparing. Now, that could be we have, when we looked at it, broadband and Wi-Fi
Mhm.
is 107,000 overspent to date.
Oh.
So that needs money. So is this a place to take money from the online permitting and put it to that line that's going into the deficit?
Hey, what line is that now?
9.
9?
None.
So
Okay.
why are we so, that it spiked this year to 128,000?
Mhm.
Did they rewire everything?
They did, yeah.
They did, okay,
So
all right.
Well, that's a reason.
Yeah,
We
okay.
rewired the town. So there was an initial project that was
Okay.
set out for that budget.
Okay,
And this year, they determined that, and one of the things we did was updated everything to fiber. And
okay.
we eliminated firewalls. We did some work that was
It's-
beneficial to,
Okay, I mean, that's, if you did all of that, then I guess it's reasonable then,
right.
if he's
Right, so the-
rewiring all that stuff.
But it gets to, why wasn't there a realignment and reallocation
Hmm,
earlier?
Then.
But
yeah,
So that's $54,000.
that's $54,000 that we can move to a line that's 107 overdrawn.
Right, that's what I mean.
Which
Yeah.
gets you to 53
Yeah.
left, 53 more, so it makes up about half of it. So yes.
Yeah, but without the real bottom line, we're just
Mhm.
shadow boxing here.
but even though it says available, does. like
We
I
don't
said,
know
'cause-
if that's true.
Well, we don't, but do we still have to, that available $54,000?
Yeah.
Do you still need to take some of that for FY 26 and 27?
No, that project,
Already.
It project's ended,
the
okay,
project is ended, and the reason for the $60,000 is they had a full planned rollout with equipment available for contractors to come in and log in at a computer and it's turned out that we're just doing online and contractors have to use their own equipment. We're not gonna have a station set up. So the scope of
Okay.
the rollout of online,
okay, so that
Permanent.
project's completed,
that project is completed. And again, maybe there needs to be an indication on here when something's complete.
I would
Move
say
it,
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
kind of, so that we're not guessing at this, but that was
Yeah.
it. And I'm gonna just, there'll be more. If we, the Affordable Housing Trust, all of that money is expended, so that would look like the coast line.
It's all gone.
It's, that 100,000 has already been expended in FY 24, so there's nothing available.
okay.
Now, are we allowed to ask what it was expended for?
Um,
I mean, what do we
It
get
was-
for our money, the money?
It was transferred into the Affordable Housing Trust, and the Affordable Housing Trust will have their projects that they.
Oh, I see, it was just a transfer of
It's a
funds.
transfer of funds to the Affordable Housing.
And that
Trust.
was, and we were allowed to do that, correct?
That was one of the
Allowable
Yeah,
items.
Because that was a one-time deal.
It was,
Well, that doesn't sound right to
Right.
me, but I guess it's interpretation.
it's interpretation, what, it's kind of like, of where does it fall into the proper guidelines of what you can use the money for.
Yeah, I think
So there'll be
that's,
no money left in that one, that's it.
that's the
There's no
caveat.
money today, unless they see other money and transfer it in and do another transfer.
Oh,
So
I can
TEO,
think
did you
of-
get their fridge?
what?
Um,
I didn't hear you.
TEO's fridge.
okay,
They bought it
TEOs, yeah.
that one I had, again, the conversation is that they have not submitted a receipt for it, so there hasn't been a transfer.
But they
No.
do have it.
I think
I-
they do, they have big walk-ins,
Yeah,
They-
that's what this looks like.
yeah.
Right, yeah, that would be a big walk-in, but I don't know if they acquired it some other way. If they didn't submit the bill, now's the time to submit the bill and get it paid with the. ARPA
So is that
funds.
Kim?
Yes,
Kim?
yeah, and Nelson said he reached out to Kim to try to get that answer. I was up there with some clothes over the weekend, and it looked like a relatively new bridge sticking out the side of the,
Oh, that,
other side of the building.
yeah, 'cause you wanna take care of that crew.
Yeah,
Water treatment plant,
that was the engineering.
yeah.
And so 130,000 was allocated. It was used, and you see in FY 24, there was a transfer back. of $9,886 because they overspent the line.
But they gave it back.
They gave back the overspend, so you can see that the total expend was,
So now that we're down to, 44,000 as far as the, where's that line?
oh, okay, you're thinking for the rollout
Right.
for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If you're, yep,
Oh, yeah, what line you want?
well, no, there'd be nothing additional. It's not that they overspent the 130, they went to 139,886. So they rolled it back and they moved the 9,886. So the total expense line is the 130,000.
So where did they roll 9,000?
135, 123, under FY 24, they gave us 9,086.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so they spent 135, 123.
And they have nothing available,
And they have nothing available
nothing
for that
remaining.
project.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're good.
Right.
And 135 was for generators at Cross Street.
Okay, so the next, Article 11, the generators across street allocated was $220,000. And spent to date is the 84,887, showing a remaining balance of 135,000. For that
That could
project.
change,
That could change.
And what is the generators across the street?
yeah.
Okay, so the cross street well is for the water department. So we have
Okay,
4 or
okay.
5 wells in town.
Yeah,
It
okay.
kind of,
So it's to pump the water?
it's to pump the water when
Okay.
electricity goes out.
Okay,
Oh,
Okay.
That's where
To keep the
okay.
pumps-
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh, for
yeah,
them, not
Yeah.
for the town.
because,
Well,
I know.
but
Yeah.
in essence, the town.
Well, the lights and.
Well, no,
Yeah.
if the lights go out in the town, their power would go out to their regular pumps. And
So
so they
they-
need the generators
Generator
to
pump
to
water.
generate the
pump
water. Because you don't want the generator, if you're not pumping water when the
Oh,
power
that's
goes
good.
out.
Yeah,
Right.
because it
and
does,
there's a-
you could grow bacteria because I had a well in my last house and the pump died.
Oh,
And one day my daughter calls, he said, "Man, there's no water coming out of the sink." I'm like, what? They had to come replace the pump.
Got to it.
And then because it was dry for a few days, then I had it tested and it was loaded with bacteria. So then I mean, it just, so it's well worth
Oh,
keeping
sure,
the,
absolutely.
keep it running.
keep it running.
Right.
Okay,
And that's just, again, that was the cross street.
okay.
It's kind of like Main Street has some Timberleaf, which is Brook has them, the Harbor Trace is gonna have them, especially with the new facility.
Okay,
Should be
Yeah, no.
pretty much
Well,
live and
yeah.
final, they can walk on a floor next Tuesday.
oh, okay.
It's kind of like, so they're getting almost ready to move in.
Now the plant is much closer to that house at the circle than I thought it was gonna be. I thought the
Yeah.
plant was gonna be further down. But
Oh, the water treatment plant, yeah.
the water treatment plant, because my granddaughter has a friend on that street. When I've
Is it
been
pretty
down there,
close?
yeah, or to the house at the end of the circle, yeah.
Mm.
I said, if they put some trees, it'll,
Barrier.
yeah,
So then we have stormwater management. Is that the highway department that gets that? Or is that what?
I would think stormwater management, highway department, culverts and things.
Right.
Um,
Then election, we know about that.
Yeah, that was the pole pads. There is going to be additional expense. They're going to upgrade the networks and buy at least an additional pad to go. So there's more money to be spent there in the elections, and we're using the ARPA money because it was there. There's money there. Because if we start replacing pole pads now, let's say they had a life expectancy of 6 years,
mhm,
it's kind of like we're halfway,
Oh, between the
Oh,
elections. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
we're halfway
Right
there
there.
to, so it's time to. start thinking about-
Refresh them.
Yeah,
Okay,
refresh them and have backups. If one happen to go down
Mhm.
in an election, you can roll out that.
over paper and pen like we used to.
Yeah.
There is that.
There is always
Always
that.
that.
Done that, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
Yeah.
Vinton Pond Comcast build out, what the heck is that?
Okay, so Comcast had never rolled out to the Vinton Pond area. I'm sure it has to do with density.
I mean, the people who live there don't have,
They didn't have cable.
You've gotta be kidding, in
No.
2020?
Correct. And again, part of the cable contract has always been the cost of doing part of the project versus the revenues that can come back in. So you had Vincent Pond area residents that didn't get it because the density wasn't gonna pay back the cost of rolling out.
But why isn't Comcast doing that? Why are we paying for
Well, again, in the Comcast contract
it? Yeah,
is the whole density piece and
really?
profitability. Sure, it's kind of like, if you were gonna roll out to a whole town and you had some remote people, as a company, would you spend that money to not, no, it's kind of
Oh,
like,
here we go, yeah, public service or profit. So,
well, yeah, those are the pieces.
But-
So,
but
Vinton
they
Pond,
have telephone lines, they have telephones.
oh, they could absolutely do that. They could do the wireless service like
Yeah, yeah,
DirecTV.
yeah.
I mean, there were other services, but they didn't have Comcast. Now they have Comcast.
Maybe, oh, they had other people, maybe they didn't want Comcast.
It's
Yeah.
possible, it's kind of like, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's,
You know, so,
Mhm.
so the Vinton Pond area has been wired. That was one of the ARPA funds and not only ARPA, but we have the Infrastructure Act is to get everybody Wi-Fi access.
I understand it, but I thought that Comcast would, did they not pitch in, pay any of it? They're getting all the money back.
Um, I
I'm
I don't
sorry.
have that answer. I was not
What do
part
you
of the details.
think? It's a
It's gonna-
company for profit, so.
But I
that tells
would think
you-
that if a company for profit was gonna make money, that they would have an investment to make that money. Okay,
Right,
never
it-
mind, I get it.
Again, if you're gonna spend $100,000 to roll it out, and you're only gonna get back 5,000
No, I
a year.
understand their corporate mentality, but
Right,
but,
it's kind of like, but I think that's.
so they would write on our coattails. Got it.
In this case, it's kind of like, the town would probably not have rolled out and paid for that, we couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
But with ARPA money,
Yeah, I see.
we have the ability to do good for townspeople in that.
Well, that's a
in that
good
sector.
thing,
Mhm.
Right,
and a
so,
bad thing for Comcast.
well, we'll see,
Just saying.
the
Hmm.
next,
Oh, unless they pitch in, maybe we should go visit them.
Let's go visit them, yeah.
With a tin cup and say,
Yeah.
please, please.
COVID-related expenses. Oh, I guess that money's all gone.
Where's that?
The next one,
Other COVID-related expenses, ARPA 15,
meals for seniors.
yeah, and that will continue, out through,
So
does
are we
that
at a
make it a
deficit of
legitimate-
29, of
$29 from Comcast.
$29?
Yep, it was
Okay.
$95,029, and they only budgeted $94,15.
okay,
Huh.
so there was 95,000 budgeted, in the first year, they spent the 94, okay. And in FY 24, they spent another 1,014, so it came, they
Right.
overspent the line by 29, so,
Dollars.
yeah, so there was a transfer back in $29.
So we transferred that someplace
We transferred that
to
just
where?
back to the ARPA fund.
From the ARPA fund to the ARPA fund under a different
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
Okay, COVID, that's pretty much says it all.
Lines for we spent, again, that, you know, we talk about those, the meals for seniors will continue through the end of,
Now, is that a legitimate ARPA, expense?
Yeah.
Because I thought ARPA was one time. Or is it because it relates to health or,
it relates to health and,
okay,
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're saying. So when you go onto the website and look at what opera funds are used for, it's kind of
it's
confusing.
very
right,
confusing, yeah.
there's the repeat things that you can use them for, as I said, the labor and those things. And then there's the one-time spending.
So there's $46,000 left?
In the meals,
For
Yeah.
meals,
yes.
but
So-
that was as of August, Jerry, so maybe September,
So
October,
maybe
November.
there's 30
Yeah,
left?
yeah.
Okay,
Maybe.
well, this was, again, so you're looking at the end of 2026, right? Granted, so, or the FY 27 numbers. So yes, it's kind of like, if we look at the numbers, these again, were just estimates, I said if they continue to do the meals at the current level, these would be the numbers that we would get. And so, you know, there's the potential of, if we are gonna spend at the same rate, Nelson's gonna have the conversation with Council on Aging Director and look at it. But based on what we've spent, we're gonna continue to provide the meals, but maybe there's extra there to be taken and used somewhere else.
Maybe we could give him like a upgrade on the food. Did you ever see that?
Upgrade on the food.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, I've never seen it, it's,
I have.
you know,
It's not
Oh,
bad.
are these the meals that they deliver?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
isn't the meals that they serve at the
Oh, I'm
senior.
assuming it's everything, but
I thought it was.
I don't know, is
I
it
don't know.
Meals on Wheels, or is it like the meals?
no,
at
I
the
think
senior
it's
center?
Meals on Wheels, it's a total different.
Right, that's a different, that
Oh,
number is a Pittsburgh number and you call.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
and yeah,
Oh,
they fix, you know,
that's
you
not
get
a-
sandwiches.
This would be the meals in the kitchen.
at the
Okay.
senior
At the
citizen.
senior center.
Yeah, they have pretty good meals sometimes.
Yeah, they actually do.
Yeah, I
So
haven't been out,
Greenville
but
Road
maybe it's not.
Bridge improvement, that's all done?
The bridge isn't done, I think that's the engineering for it.
$300,000?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Bridge
And
night.
then if that's the
So what
engineering,
happens,
That's
the
engineering.
bridge just sits
Then
there?
you have the infrastructure
Mhm.
bill that,
it's gonna be about the same probably,
oh, more,
or more.
yeah.
Where's that money?
I would say that if we have the engineering done and we go and submit for the infrastructure replacement money, it comes from the infrastructure bill that was signed 2020.
Oh, from the state?
From the feds,
Oh, from the federal government?
the federal government.
Oh, good,
Okay.
okay, finally,
Okay.
your tax dollar.
So they have $7,000 or almost $8,000 left.
It's about $8,000 left. If they're done with the engineering and they're not gonna do any more, then that's the place. If they have additional work to do, whether it's change orders or something.
I mean, is that a real big
But-
bridge or just kind of a bridge? I mean,
Well,
Kinda small, but
right now.
They just go over water?
It's
or
the
is it-
rock, yeah, it goes
Goes
over the
over.
rock, hook out.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
out by
So-
Greenville.
So
You know
they
what it
have,
is,
yeah, because my girlfriend's husband, when he worked for the state, he was a diver, and that's what he did. He dived under all
to see
those
what the
bridges.
bridges, yeah.
And then, yeah, because they have to inspect the bridges
Right.
underwater and they come up.
Yeah.
You know, with.
The
with
pole,
all-
yeah.
Yeah,
The
so,
Greenville Bridge has been hit several times. It's kind of like, and so there was,
Seems like we replaced that bridge a few times.
They
No,
definitely
no,
replaced
this is
something
the
this
one-
summer, the
this is-
road.
this is the one with the big granite blocks.
Oh, yeah, okay.
where is
So,
this bridge?
Greenville Road, so you go on
Oh,
to West Townsend, the brick store.
Right at
If you
Canal
go-
Street.
If you take a right to go up to New Hampshire, Greenville, Road, that's Greenville Road.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
bridge with the very whole wall as you go over.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But it's the big granite,
okay, okay.
stones or.
I don't go too far past the Hobart Mall, but.
Hmm, yeah. It's kind of like, but if you're going up to.
Country Mile, you could go up.
Yeah, go come and get a sandwich
What is there,
to feed your family.
really?
Oh, it's delicious.
Where is this?
It's Country
On that
Mile
Greenville
gas
Road, you
station.
go to,
Oh, so this is actual place?
oh, yeah, it's in the middle of totally
Yeah.
nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, they have great gas prices and they have terrific subs,
Sandwiches.
and it's a liquor store.
Oh,
Going
so
one-
I just keep going. up
Keep
the
Just keep
going.
going up.
And then take a right.
I know, I
at
need to
stop sign.
explore Townsend more. Need to get up more, okay.
Take a right at the stop sign, it's
Okay.
right up there. PS related expenses.
Okay.
What's PS?
I'm gonna go with public safety. It's kind of
Okay.
like- I've only seen the acronyms
What
and
number is this on?
this is
18.
Opera 18.
18.
Okay,
Because-
public safety sounds good.
And
Public safety, is that roads?
No,
Or what is it like,
Police, fire?
I think
I don't know.
it's police.
I'd say
Public
police
safety?
and police, if you look under the budget section for public safety, it falls into quite quite a few things, but police and fire are the main.
Do you think roads are part of it? Don't you think they should be?
I wish they'd paint the stripes.
Well,
I wish they'd give some of this money to the roads.
Oh, yeah,
If-
that too.
if-
Is that
yeah.
in this building is falling down.
Well, and again,
That's on the list, it's
it-
at the bottom.
it's on the list. So we have the publicly, and then if you look at ARPA 18-1, they did specifically, they added in the police
Oh,
department.
so PD is police,
Right.
so they're
police
not
department.
under PS.
Well,
They could be.
were, because the association of 18 and 18-1,
One,
so it's kind of like,
oh,
so when you look at it, between those two lines, 300,000 was allocated.
Because you figure the 18-1 is actual wages, where the other expenses could be,
Yeah.
could be anything,
Anything, right.
equipment
Supplies and things that
like
they,
that.
cars,
I don't know, oh, would the cars come underneath that?
I don't think the cars can come underneath.
No.
Cars,
No, but,
yeah, between
But-
cars and the leases, it's kind of like,
Okay.
there'll be lots of.
but you know, there's all kinds of
Coming up
stuff,
on the
they
budget.
gotta buy
Right.
bullets and guns and all kinds
oh,
of
yeah,
stuff.
right.
All kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
okay,
then-
now cleaning and disinfectant, $10,000, no kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back
wow.
when COVID first hit, there was,
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
right, the big
yeah.
bleach,
Yeah,
sanitize everything.
right, so
Yeah,
that's,
interesting, yeah.
yeah.
But
it's
that's kinda over,
so
isn't it?
it's some- Yeah, a lot of that is over, and so that's, if there's anything left in there, it was overspent by 2,400. So that's gonna have to be balanced out. So we spent 12,400 on there.
Conservation agent wages.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have one, do we?
No.
We did for a while, they used those, so that money would be available at this point to be used.
Do you think we'll ever get another one?
I would certainly hope so. It's kind of like, we
What
had
is-
somebody in
what
there
is-
for a short time.
what do they do?
I believe they're supposed to be the inspectors that go out and look,
Property.
at the properties and things when there's conservation.
If there's
issues,
wetlands
report back to
or-
them.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be the Conservation Commission?
It'll be both, it's kind of like.
No, but did they have a worker? They have a.
They have a worker that
employee.
actually
They have
goes
a
out.
worker that
Yeah.
does,
Well, I know Jessica,
does the work, fills out the forms. Yeah, was it Jessica?
Jessica
Jessica
from the
left,
land,
yeah.
land use office was doing that.
Right, but she left.
Here, I know, she,
So now they don't have anybody because Amber left and Jessica left.
mm,
So the both of them were chased out. That's sad. Okay, assistant director wages of COA.
Council of
on
Aging.
Okay.
So that was to help with the budget on, for that. Council on Aging last year said they have, the 5-year plan in their budget,
Oh,
how they're going to, bring in all of the items that are associated.
they have a 5-year plan?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
So, that really mirrored, it was looking at their plan, their budget, and the people they had and who was being paid for out of the ARPA funding.
Got it. Jerry,
Mhm.
Yes,
next one's you.
bandstand.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Here you are.
there I am.
Again, the completed.
Completed project.
Completed project, but it did cost more than that, but other money came from other places, but that's what the town did allow me.
That was nice.
For the ARPA
Repair,
funds.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the ARPA funding.
Right, so
One time,
Mhm.
One-time fee, yeah.
one time you can have $10,000 for the bandstand. Slash
but
gazebo.
there was repair and
Mhm.
that type of thing.
Right.
It wasn't wages or anything like that.
Now a part-time custodian, was that for the disinfectant, cleaning?
My guess is that it was, and because of the extra work that had to be done,
COVID,
they were gonna have additional, but looking at it, they didn't really spend like $2,000 on that line.
Hmm.
So there's 13,000.
So they don't have like a part-time custodian that works all the time to
They
clean the
do,
building?
that's on a regular, he's
Oh.
on a regular salary.
Oh, regular, so,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, so this is a
Regular
third,
budget.
this would be a third
This would have
person.
been an additional person.
Oh,
to-
okay,
To help
okay.
out, because the workload was,
yeah, too much.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of,
yeah, no, I can understand that.
So then we have the building evaluation.
Yeah.
And what's that?
That, the company was hired to.
Oh, another outsource
It was
operation?
outsourced to review all of the town buildings and come back with recommendations for what's required for improvements.
They must have had
Oh,
a
and
huge,
did
they
we
must have
get
had a
it?
field day here.
Did we receive that?
I don't believe they're close to finalizing their report and submitting it. So there's still more money to be spent on that line for them to finish. But when they're done, we're supposed to have a list of.
Yeah.
When would you, how soon are we getting that? I mean, time's getting,
Time's getting short.
I hope they're not gonna wait until 2027 to give it to us.
They shouldn't,
the
but-
building will fall down.
Maybe we should start, why don't we ask Nelson to put a little
Mhm.
fire
Right,
under that, to
let's-
get it
yeah.
to us?
Yeah.
Because I think that's gonna be important for us to talk about for the,
It's budget, yeah.
Yeah,
When you-
budget.
When you get
Yeah.
to real
Well, the
budget.
thing is, if
Yeah.
you don't take care of these buildings, if you don't take care of them sooner, later it's gonna cost you
And that's
twice as
why
much.
it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
2 or 3
Yeah.
times as much.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And just put a little bit of money into maintenance
Yeah, the
yearly.
windows,
So those are-
you know, recaulking the windows even, they're shaking and the wind blowers, you can hardly hear yourself think, I mean, you know.
We're gonna have to have
Yeah.
cookie, getting all worked
Not
up.
that,
Oh, yeah, sure.
John made this.
Who made-
John
John.
Hayes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny, I don't have,
Yeah.
oh, is your raspberry one
Oh, is that something everybody
Oh,
knows
yeah.
about? Hey, Jerry, you're the,
there? Well, I'm
I'm gonna get the
looking
kitchen
John
now.
makes those the best.
there's one thing I hate is saran wrap.
Oh, because yeah,
yeah, it sticks well.
it's,
It's just awful.
it's,
Good pay.
when you want it to stick, sometimes it doesn't
doesn't.
stick well, and when you don't want it to stick
Mm.
well,
You know,
you
like
can't
getting
get
it out
it.
of the box,
Yeah.
taking it off. Oh, these look delicious. Okay, go for it, Jerry. I'm
Okay.
passing it around.
Give me the
Yeah.
raspberry one.
There were nuts and peanut butter, and so it's kind of
That's
like if
okay.
anybody has allergies, so.
Sometimes you
Leave it for
don't
that.
have to-
Leave it for the rest of us. You have an
Don't
allergy.
have, don't have allergies, thank goodness, to food
I know,
anyway.
yeah.
You want one?
No, I'm big.
It's
So eventually we'll get a building evaluation that we can
Right,
work
that
with.
we can
for
start
our-
working, right,
yeah.
and there'll be a big plan for.
And a used fire truck, why do they need a used fire truck?
Well, my guess is it's going to be, especially at that price, is probably something
Oh,
The
for,
fire, like a fire,
like for the
rescue.
historic.
for a
historical
forest
museum.
truck or something like that.
I was thinking historic, or.
They're gonna put it
Put it
in
in the
the
fire
back of the
station?
historic museum?
What?
So, isn't the fire department doing something with a historic fire?
Yeah, but they have their own,
I thought they already had a historic fire truck.
I think they do, they have
Better
that
not talk
old
about
fashioned
this on
cover.
TV.
I thought that's what they were gonna put in the new firehouse.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
So,
Okay, so this
We
is.
have to
gonna
ask
take-
about that.
this one is also completed from the looks of it. And
I wanna know what that is, a fire truck, I wanna know. If it's like a forestry truck, that's one thing,
Right,
Oh, okay.
right, big,
because they have the old pumper, they have the old hearse, and stuff like that, where they're gonna put in that fire museum.
right.
Yeah.
It,
I wanna know
because
what this
it,
is.
it then becomes, is.
With
is-
an basket?
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah,
Oh, I see a waste basket.
Oh,
Mm.
oh, those are delicious.
So that's the end of ARPA as we had it then.
Okay.
Nelson is working on, when I went to his office, he was closing, it said on a call and his Zoom, so.
So we want the building inspection report,
We,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Now,
When are the letters going out to the department saying we want their budgets and their 5-year plans? When are those going out?
first of December, actually, Nelson is going to present that to, to the Board of Selectmen on the 2nd, and it will go out to the department heads. If there's changes shortly after, if there's no change, it'll.
So we should hear what that has to say to make sure it says everything that we
Well,
want.
that,
yeah, because can we
Yeah.
tell him what we want?
Yes, we can. He's asked for it, and that's the next item on the agenda.
Oh, okay,
Um,
Jerry jumped in.
That's okay. It's kind of,
Typical.
yeah, so but what I really, the main piece that I wanted to try to get to here was, there is a plan, we're looking at it, and they're gonna try to see exactly, get closer on what's been spent to date, how close it is to the estimates.
So
and
actually, I
what money
came up,
is available and come up with the remainder of.
Now, I have a
additional-
question. If we've done something that's not acceptable by the state or the federal government regarding the ARPA funds, is there a penalty that we have to pay, or is there
They-
any kind of,
They don't put
Recourse.
anything they don't put anything on the list that hasn't been approved. So we have somebody that, when we have a project, it goes to them for approval, that yes, ARPA funds can be used to fund it.
so this is a person that's part of the ARPA fund?
Or, yeah, it's kind of like that group we use for the reporting,
So it's an outsourced company,
It's-
it's not the government?
correct. It's kind of like,
so what about part of the ARPA funds that really shouldn't have been used for what they were hired for? What about that?
you're thinking of the positions that have
I am, too.
added positions into the operating budget
Mhm.
of the town.
I don't think we could afford it. I don't think we should have done
I
No,
agree with that.
But
it. Thank you.
it's kind of like.
I
when-
agree 1,000%.
Yeah, and what happened with that is the positions were written into the budget as $0, and when we approved the budget, by default, the position was approved, even though the funds were coming.
Doesn't have to
It
No,
be
was-
but that,
it was
but
not
that's kind
clear.
of deceitful, that's not very
It was,
transparent.
it was not necessarily a transparent piece, and especially the way the budgets are presented
Was
and
presented.
voted on. And that's where we need to change how finance committee recommends and presents to town meeting what the actual budget is.
So
and
we should really be presenting to the residents prior to the town meeting, I think. So just like those little bulletins that the state puts out, those red, remember the red
Right,
one that we had and said, if you vote yes, this will happen, if you
Mhm.
vote no.
Oh, yep.
We
Right.
should really be thinking
We-
about doing that.
we have what we call the recommendation sheet, and has always been just written and handed out at town meeting. Beside the budget, so you get a copy of the budget, you get a copy of the finance.
Right, in the
committee.
old days, it used to be right underneath it in the little booklet.
Here's-
So somebody
This is,
changed
this
that.
is from Pepperell. I think I showed it to Dawn.
Yeah.
This is what they do. They have like an explanation.
On the sheet, on the
Yeah,
warrant,
on the
right.
warrant.
yeah, on the warrant, it used to be on the warrant for Townsend, in the old days.
Well, not only that,
we don't get them early enough to put
Maybe
them
we should tell them we
online.
want them earlier, I mean, really.
Well, when we go back and start looking at some of the procedures that are written, we're supposed to have copies of them earlier than we have.
Yeah, and we have to start holding their feet to the fire, because
That's right. It's
we,
kind of like,
you know, their money just goes out the door, and we're looking at serious.
And a lot of
default.
people don't understand what they're voting.
Absolutely.
but
they
I
don't.
think
It's kind of-
I don't think it's good that the Board of Selectmen presents the budget for the departments. I think the departments should present their own
At the
budget
town meeting.
at town meeting
agree,
and
I
have
agree.
to, and if there's any questions, they should have to be able to support their
Oh,
budget.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that the Board of Selectmen runs the entire show is kind of disheartening here, because they're really supposed to be overseeing certain things, not day to day.
Mhm.
And they might not have all the information that the budget department has.
Right.
Yeah, they're not a good source of information.
Who's our liaison?
Teresa Moore. So I forwarded out the information that came from there, but Teresa Moore it was listed there.
Oh, on that list that you sent us, yeah.
Right, if I look at the agenda, it looks like they're gonna revisit the, liaison assignments on the second. So we'll see if it stands, but
One more meeting.
as of the meeting on the 19th, the list that came out, Teresa was out. I believe what they did is they just replaced, the other two selectmen with the new selectmen. from that list.
Oh.
The other two,
So so Joe and Chaz
Remember when they were
We're
on?
gone, out.
Yeah.
were gone, so I think all that they did was they replaced Veronica and, or
Lauren
Shiflin.
Schifrin with the, whoever became Chaz and whoever became Lauren.
Right, I think that's
Okay, so
the way it was, okay.
the
so-
letters, I agree, we should have the letters ASAP.
So,
Yeah, wait until the last minute when you're dealing
Too
with
much.
finances is really not a
Yeah.
best
right,
practice.
And it's tough, like, come March, we were meeting 2 or 3 times a week, and you're trying to pull it all together, and.
Yeah, it's like 11th hour production, and that's
and
could be
that's,
part of the problem.
but that's a piece of the problem, and it's kind of like, so, I just jumped back, I apologize for not having copies of the agenda, but, I put on here the next item, so before we move on, anything else on the opera funding questions, or
No, I think we need to,
we have to see what the
real.
what the final list is, it's being worked on. It's kind of like, and it's, when it's a work in progress, we're,
Tough. So if there's any leftover money from any item,
Yeah.
it can only be used back into an ARPA fund
either what they're,
allocation.
I came up
Or-
with $74,000,
How much?
74,000.
Yeah, but it's gotta go back into one of these.
It can go
it
back
doesn't
into one.
necessarily have to go into one of them, it can go into a new one,
Oh,
so that's what,
But we only have to the 25th, to December 30th to make a new one.
to make a new one.
So that's
And
gonna be tricky if
that's-
we don't get it until December 2nd.
Well, that puts the priority on getting that done with the Board of Selectmen. When I listened to the meeting, they say they have 3 policies written for ARPA funding and lists and all those are posted, and they're gonna follow those as.
Who wrote them?
Make the assignment.
Who wrote the policy?
The people that were.
On the meeting-
on the Board of on the Board of Selectmen at the time the ARPA funds were.
Oh, maybe we should take a peek at
Oh.
those.
allocated.
Yeah,
Where do we
Maybe.
find those, Dawn?
I would say probably under Board of Selectmen.
okay,
Board of Selectmen somewhere
somewhere on their
on that
site,
site.
okay,
And it's the policies, ARPA policies.
Yeah, there's 3.
okay.
I think I might have seen something. on it. Yeah, we'll have to
And
look at
that may even have the names of the company who used to approve and do the reporting and all.
Oh, yeah, the outsourcing.
It's possible, because if we're, part of getting something on the approved list is getting it reviewed,
Yeah,
you'd think the contact name
Hmm.
was on there.
would help.
And then-
Okay.
So, next we had, next item on item 2, the definition for the finance committee requirements for the FY 26 budget season. So that's really, where we're starting, for sort of listed twice because it's also under new business. I didn't delete it from new business. That was, yeah, it's an oversight. It was on new business on the November 6th. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, kind of. So, we're looking for hard copy manuals for, this is something I know Jerry had mentioned, hard copy.
Do we order those?
No, the manuals. Yeah, I'll check with, and see if they're in. It's kind of like I did the proofing of them, a week ago Friday, so about 10 days ago.
Wasn't there 10 of them or something like that?
No,
Six?
there's 10 that would be ordered, so we will get the 10, but they printed one for proof,
Oh,
and I came in and reviewed it and approved the printing at that point. So, so they may be in already, it's kind of like, because they had it and they printed one copy, so it shouldn't take much more to get like 9 copies.
Find it and all that.
So what I'm thinking is, it's a hard copy of the department budgets.
Oh, this is different.
Yeah, this is what do we
Hard
want
copy of
from-
department budget.
Right, so we're gonna have a binder, we want a binder
Mm-hmm,
with each department
mm-hmm,
in its own section,
mm-hmm,
with the department budget,
I like that.
yeah.
with the, budget message,
Mhm,
and the detail file.
mhm.
What's a
What-
budget message?
Stay in your mind.
A budget message is an introduction from the department head to what is presented in the budget.
Exactly, one of these is, yeah, it's in where is it? I have it,
How do you have something like that?
because I printed all this crap last night.
Oh. So it's an introduction by the department head of why he wants what he has on the
What
list.
they want on the list. Yeah,
Okay, it's like,
I'll have to
it's-
print that out.
yeah, so, you know,
oh,
for-
well, this, what, the mission statement department, is this the one that you're looking at? This is from,
was that out of the manual?
this was out of this is out of the, the
Oh,
Townsend budget process and document
from
enhancement.
Collins, at the Collins Center?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, was any of this ever adopted, any of these
Oh,
recommendations?
something we
They
used
were.
about 10 years ago.
Right, but it had good things in it.
Oh, it's reference material, you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's reference material on the websites with this Collins Center budget review, and
I mean, it came up with recommendations and
Is
stuff, I
that
don't,
when you went on for 6 months and it ended up 3 years?
no, that was ClearGov. I think,
Okay, so it's good to know what the message is, because then we
Right.
know what they're, why, we know
Why?
why they're.
it's kind of so that's for us, and so that's gonna take probably some admin support,
By,
by somebody.
on the committee?
No, I think, well, we don't have access to be able to come up and print things on these printers. So we need somebody that has access. So if we want to print an 11 by 17 piece of paper, we can't do that on our home printers.
Oh, right, no, but we can come here and do it, correct?
Well, we're part of the,
Well-
yes.
We're part of the town, what,
We're part of the town, but how do you get it from, we're gonna mail it in, and
oh,
Or you know, physical
11 by,
person.
oh, they don't have 11 by 17?
they have them
Capacity?
here. We don't, most home printers don't have.
No,
11
I
by-
understand that, but the town
Yeah.
hall does,
Correct.
so we
So-
could.
so,
But if,
Do we provide our own paper, I think is one of the questions.
well, no, it's not I mean.
but
it-
isn't the
it's-
town administrator, according to this, he's supposed to, the town administrator with the board shall submit to the finance a proposed operating budget for the responsible with an accompanying budget message and supporting documents.
Right, yeah.
So wouldn't they
And
be
it's-
responsible for printing and all that
Well,
stuff?
that's what yeah,
Would that
that's
be
what I want to
Sabrina?
say. That's the right thing, because I mean, back in the day, it was probably Carolyn Smart, but I don't think we've had anybody since then. We haven't had the support.
No, we haven't.
It's kind of like, you'll find that I print something and run up here and try to print it so we have copies of it.
Right.
Oh, okay, and
That's
here's
really not right.
It's kind of, and that's why, it's kind of like, we're looking for, I don't think it's the clerk of the finance committee responsibility to do it. I'm thinking there's gonna be, the documents are printed anyway for others to review, so it's kind of like, when you hit the print button.
Well, I think that, I think there's no question about that, we should be able to print here at the
Oh, I
town
think
hall.
we can.
With the facilities.
Well, but see,
And the
this,
storage.
if we can't take, you can't take a thumb drive and plug it into these computers and do
So
it.
it had to be done here.
You have to send it to somebody to print.
Oh, you
Okay.
can't print like from your computer to their
Correct,
printer?
But,
right.
okay,
No, we don't have town email addresses and logins. We only have our personal emails and logins.
Wait a minute,
So do you have you
wait, I'm
joined,
thinking about the historic district, didn't we just get a,
Get a site.
no, we also got an email.
Mhm.
We can get an email, they gave historic district an email.
Start
but
with
did you get a
commission.
login? So you have an email.
Not yet, but because I haven't called the lady, but as soon as I call her, I'll hopefully have, and I'll let you know what happened.
But we don't have a login to the town to get.
I
on the
think we're
outside of the
supposed to be able to do that.
We're on the outside of the firewall. We can't print.
So has,
So that's fine.
Oh,
so
you mean
has,
even if we had our own email for the town?
oh, do
Right,
you
yeah.
have your own email for
Yeah.
the
They said,
town?
what-
It has to be-
they gave us the email.
You have to have a login with a
Mhm.
VPN and
Oh.
be able to get on the other side of the firewall to print.
Right,
on
and
these
so
printers.
someone told me that if I call this woman at some company, that she will help me do that. So
Guardian?
I'll call her.
With a Guardian,
I don't know, her name was Demetria or something like that. Demetra, Demetra.
Mm.
So if I will call her and I will let you know what she says. And I might be all wrong, because I'm not a computer person, but
So you have a town email account?
For the commission.
for the Historic District Commission. So I have to be able to get into it, is the key, like you said.
But
So this girl supposedly
same
is supposed to
situation
set
with
me up to be able to get into the county, or they're not the county, the town
mailbox.
mailbox.
So I don't know if that'll be the same.
Okay.
but-
Oh, we can try.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
So, and then
So has the select board been submitting this budget message every year?
The select board really doesn't, so they, the budget message, yes, and it usually comes from town administrator with guidance from board of selectmen, and Nelson had asked us for our input. It's kind of like, and so everything I've been doing here isn't necessarily about the budget, but,
is it about the message?
it's about the message, but what we're looking for is, so we want the documents that are outlined,
I think we
Give
should give
budget
a
guidance.
general, a
no,
gentle
but just the
reminder
message. Yeah,
that people have to stay within parameters of what we can afford this year, because we can't afford much. So
No,
don't
we
be
can't.
looking for any 10% of this or that or anything.
No, because the school already told, I mean, the town already told the school we could only afford 3%, and the school wants, what,
Yeah,
4
so,
point,
you
4
know,
point
that goes for
something?
everybody, because
they want
everybody's.
11.
11?
Yeah, that was the numbers they showed us the other day. The town,
I think
Oh,
it
you
was-
mean at the meeting?
their number,
Didn't
their,
they say, I
I
thought
thought he said, I thought that those three, town administrators said, we can give you 3%, and I thought he came back and said, well, we want 4 point something percent.
it's even more than that. It's kind of like, but the other part, or maybe the 4% is after they talked about the cost cutting measures that they were talking about.
maybe, I thought, I remember,
It's kind of
I
like, so they
blocked
could have
out
been
the
a bit
11.
before. Yeah, there could be a.
Okay, so we want a budget message that's clear, honest, and transparent, and ethical. Let's throw ethics in there for change.
What was it again? Clear, honest, ethical,
And transparent.
transparent.
I think the town people deserve a little better than what they've been getting.
So, and okay, so that's from the Board of Selectmen to the town?
Or should it be a combination of board of selectmen / finance to the town?
Well, I mean, this is our
Yes.
procedures right here. It says what they're supposed to
Or what
do.
does it say?
Well, that's, yeah,
Is that what we're going
the
over now?
policy,
This is what we're
I think we want to, follow policy.
I think following policy is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean,
And I think we should put it out there at the meeting, so if townspeople are listening to this, they'll
Mhm.
have a
It
clue.
shall be a form of which the finance committee deems desirable or the selectmen require. So it does mention us in here.
mhm.
I think that I think we're supposed to be in almost every financial decision, budget-wise. I mean, why would the state create a finance committee?
If they didn't have anything to
If they
say.
didn't
Yeah,
want us
no.
to have any,
Right, but the other part of it is the bylaws don't give us any teeth with it either, so it's
No.
kind of like it's
I
Well-
agree, But our teeth are gonna come when we reach out to the residents directly, from this company, from this committee to
Yeah.
the residents. There's not gonna be any more 11th hour production on the floor where things come up that you don't even know about it. The townspeople are completely confused.
2 or 3 years we've had that.
Yeah, that can't
Very
happen.
confusing.
That just can't
Or
happen.
we don't even know what's happened when we've gone in, and we're just,
Oh, yeah.
it was.
No, we have to have our bulletins. They're gonna have to give it, whatever the rule is that you read earlier, John, that the town administrator or whoever the power is supposed to have the information to us by a certain date.
Right.
We need that date.
On the warrant, we need to stick to them, and those are some of the pieces,
And we'll
we-
be inviting in the,
it's kind of like, we have to try to really follow the dates, because we're talking the 1st of March is really,
too late,
it's too late, so that's where the January and February are
February.
gonna have to come in, do the reviews, and come up with a final budget preparation.
Well, and we
for-
should come up with a schedule of who's coming first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Right, and so, and I know, one of the things, do we want to ask them, ask department heads, for potential cuts if.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the thing is,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're
I
here.
mean,
departments, as they come in, I wonder if we could combine a combination of, capital plan and budget in the same, so we don't have to have them back 2 or 3 times, if we could put that. Or do you think that's too much?
But wouldn't the capital plan stuff be in the department heads budget?
They have to come back again.
No, the capital planning is a separate
Oh,
budget,
different
separate
deal.
line,
Oh, it's a separate budget for each department head?
well,
No, we have,
right.
No, I
so
get it.
It's a
it's a
separate,
wish list,
yeah, it's a wish list of,
what they need.
of what they need. Now,
Yeah, but what they need or what they want? I mean, we've all had.
Well, it's a wish list.
well,
You start out big and you work down.
I think there's
I have a wish
a
list.
combination.
I do
Well,
too.
I think we all have,
Yeah.
but, and then there's the reality of it, but
Yeah, the reality
we,
list.
on the capital planning, it's not within specifically the finance committee.
Oh, I see,
We have a representative to go to the capital planning.
Oh,
We have other members that are on capital planning,
so they will tell us what's going on.
and they will tell us what's going on, so that's a piece of it, because we can have joint meetings, that's a possibility with capital planning. Because you're right, it may look a little,
Make your meeting just a little bit longer and add the capital planning, so we're not repeating our
right,
same meeting.
yeah.
It
so we're
wouldn't
not
do the-
repeating.
capital planning, meetings start,
I
Anytime.
believe, well,
oh, okay.
again, I think,
So, okay, so I should get an email sometime. But yes,
I thought you would
I am, but I don't
Yeah,
know,
no,
how do I,
have, I
How
thought
do
you
I-
would have, you were chair, it's kind of, I'm kidding.
no, do I go contact them or? do
No,
they-
no, they
No,
come to us.
it's kind of like,
Okay,
well, usually that's the way it goes, it's kind of like, but I think it would be nice to have a more proactive capital plan.
Mhm.
I would, I have, my recommendation of capital planning is for, rather than just get a list of what they want now, get a list of all of their equipment that if they had to replace it, would be on the capital planning list.
So,
And a life expectancy. in
would that
where
be
they are.
proactive?
That would
That'd
be
be very
proactive. That would be proactive, I think.
I like
Kind of-
proactive,
In
rather
that,
than reactive.
you know, it's kind of like, right, because right now it's only when they want to get.
When something's falling off.
Yeah, that seems to be
That's the theory.
that seems to be the MO here. It's, like you said, reactive, and they're not big on maintenance.
Well,
You know, to sustain the new item, you have to have the maintenance plan built in on a yearly
Mhm.
basis. I would,
Well, that's what they give new and then they don't,
yeah, new and
and
then,
then 20 years later, we, oh my, you know.
Well, but
This is
that's the
true.
case, if we have,
I mean, because equipment usually needs some kind of maintenance.
It's-
Even
right,
if it's
and-
just, even if it's, I don't know, grease and oil or,
WD-40.
yes, yeah,
Right.
that,
you know,
I mean, yeah.
there's all of that, and it's kind of like, and it's in budgets, when you look at police and fire and highway, and
Yeah.
you'll have maintenance in the equipment.
I just see too many, I mean, I know in the civic working for the federal government that they never, ever put, like,
Right. Preventive
we,
maintenance is always something you can put off, because,
we didn't even put it in our contracts, which I thought was, you know, sometimes they just,
I was on the commercial side, we would put the maintenance in the contracts, either us doing it or the customer doing it, and if it wasn't done, you could really tell at certain times
Yeah.
when certain things were breaking, if you didn't do,
Oh, right,
Maintenance,
right,
yeah,
right,
right.
there's
It's kinda
like
like-
little clues.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's clues that you can get, but, and those are the pieces, you know, how many people put off getting an oil change, just, you know, it's a little harder now with the newer cars, but older cars,
hmm,
you know,
Yeah.
it's 3,000 miles with the original.
Yeah.
Add a quart of
The
oil
original-
and you're
Yeah,
like.
add
Yeah.
a quart of oil every time
Yeah.
you do it.
Carry around the oil in the
So-
back of
Yeah,
the
it's
car.
kind of like, yeah, so I change oil,
so getting
By
back
reason.
to the budget request.
Yeah.
So, do we have do we tell people, I mean, I wanna see potential cuts, like if we don't meet the
We
budget
can
of,
ask them.
you know,
Right. It's
like
kinda-
a 5% cut across the board, or
well, that's
what's
too
reasonable?
That's too easy.
That's too easy,
well,
okay.
I mean, if
First
it's
we have to
5%
see what
across
they
the
want.
board, but how do you get there? Do you know,
We
when you
need-
say cut 5%?
We have to see what they
is it,
want.
Well,
Let's see what they want first, and then we have
It's
to
kind
go.
of like, so that.
And then
that's
go
the thing.
back.
So we're talking putting so labor increases is, contracted amounts and level funding on everything else.
Mhm.
I think we have to be careful with contracted amounts.
That's in contracted amount, you have to pay that because it's.
Right, because it's in the contract.
Because it's in the contract.
Well, that's what I mean, maybe, you
Maybe
know,
we should look at the contract.
So, well, that would be,
I mean, I think that would be a prudent thing to do.
actually, I'm not even sure who's watching the contracts, only because
don't
of my
either.
experience
I have no
from,
idea.
from the open space committee meeting.
Oh, my word.
Because that plan,
Everything.
I still haven't got the plan,
Yeah.
or the finalized plan.
Mhm.
But that grant was, I mean, I'm going on 4 years now,
Yeah.
waiting for this plan.
Mm.
The grant money's all been spent like 2 years ago, and of course I talked to Eric, and he was like,
Yeah.
gave me like,
Mm.
he said, but we spent the money and I got nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so.
Now you don't have anybody on the committee either.
No, I don't have anybody on the committee either, so it's just me.
Wow.
But I'm almost at the end, and I'm making the
You've been saying
executive.
that now for a year, Carol.
I know. But
I
this
agree
is,
with you.
but this is
100%.
why I don't know if anybody, all these MRPC grants, like, I'm not convinced that anybody's looking at them, and MRPC is just doing whatever they want,
And they tell us.
and they tell us what they want. And nobody's actually looking at what they're supposed to be doing, and looking at the timeline that's in the grant.
Because everybody's thinking somebody else, they must be doing it, not us, you know,
But, in MRPC, I'm convinced it's just
doing that thing.
doing their thing, and, oh, well, you know, we don't have to meet, you know, nobody's,
No, I know.
Okay. So deliverables on the contracts, or because I'm assuming it's a contract.
well, no, I've seen MRPC, whatever grants, I mean, they have timelines, they're supposed to deliver, you're right, it's the deliverable, they're supposed
It's
to
the
deliver.
timeline that's the problem.
It says, you know, you're supposed to give us this by this, or it's a period performance and all that, but I don't think anybody's looking at it.
Now, when you say anybody, do you mean the department head responsible in Townsend or the person responsible at the grant end?
I'm not sure if anybody in this building's looking at, I think they just get awarded. I'm not sure who would be responsible, but I'm assuming, probably bad assumption, but say the land use office.
Uh-huh.
Though Jessica was pretty good, once she took over, she started looking at it, and that's how it's getting out. But just say that the land use office awarded a grant or a contract. Well, somebody in that office should be monitoring that contract. And, you know, if it's a 6-month contract and 3 months down the road, you're supposed to give me a report.
Mhm.
Well, 3 months down the road, I should have that report. But I don't-
Because, right, because we're paying the contract.
we're paying it, even though
Yeah.
it's grant money, it's still a contract and it's still taxpayer dollars.
It's our money.
Exactly.
It-
It's still our money, I don't care how you look at it.
Yeah, however it comes, whatever bucket it comes from, it's still taxpayer
Money.
dollars.
It was funded by a grant, and I keep on seeing,
But the contractor, maybe we should put in that the contractor has to deliver these things by the time deadlines, or there's like penalties. I mean, people don't do anything unless it's.
I don't know, I don't know if there's penalties built in, I haven't read them in detail.
Of the contracts that are.
Yeah, the
out there.
grants, whether they're got penalties for non.
Well, didn't we have?
And from what I understand, MRPC is basically the only place you can go get grants, so there's no competition.
Oh, I see.
I-
Oh, you're talking
the
about
local
grant.
support.
Yeah, but,
Yeah. I mean, there's other similar organizations.
but there's other, but I don't know. I've been told that you can't do anything because they're the only ones, and it doesn't, you know, basically they can do whatever they want because, and I'm like, it's not me.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Trying to come back to, what we can provide to Nelson to have coming out. So we want to follow the policies and procedures, including timelines. It includes the multi-year presentations. I don't know that we need to take it out, but if we say follow policy and procedures,
Well,
we
we get
reference these, we link these 2 files to it so that they can,
Do you wanna link the name of the file so they'll know?
we'll put a link in
Okay.
writing, you know, our requirement is follow
Okay.
policies and procedures.
Well, the town of Townsend and
I
the,
think we should list them because I don't think anyone's gonna read them.
Well,
well, they're short, they're not long.
That's what I mean. Can't we just bullet them from one?
I mean, this policy and procedure is only a few pages long.
but
And it looks like you highlighted the important things.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we should
did.
just copy yours and give it out.
Because the one thing I did read here, because we're always using the stabilization fund,
Right,
and it says right here, the town will not balance the budget by using one-time or other non-recurring revenues.
right.
One-time revenues is defined by the town's one-time revenue include but not limited to transfers from the stabilization fund,
Mhm.
transfers for enterprise
Yeah,
funds.
No, that was, especially with August, that was a one-time use of the stabilization fund to try to help balance the budget with the idea that when free cash is certified, we get the stabilization funds reimbursed. So that the stabilization fund stays at the current balance. And we maybe increase it.
And the other
Certain
thing
things
is-
that should be highlighted in there.
But it says, the town will not use budgetary procedures to balance the budget at the expense of future years, such as postponing or deferring payment of expenses already incurred, accruing future year, or rolling over short-term debt. So,
Yeah, no, those are all solid. And that's the piece. Our one-time funds, when we sign these budgets where salary lines were $0, that's in essence what we did because we were using ARPA money, which is one-time money. So we were balancing the budget, putting salaries into the budget that were not paid for by recurring revenues, which is your excise taxes, those pieces. It's kind of like there are pieces we really want to see. It's kind of the pavement plan. and putting in the pavement money.
Mm.
It's kind of like,
I was shocked when I found out that the excise tax doesn't go to the highway department.
Where does it go?
it goes into the general
General
fund.
fund.
I always thought,
I thought so too.
Personally, I think that's where it should go.
Well, it should go
When you
there.
read the pavement policy says that at least some of the excise tax is supposed to go to the
It
pavement.
was supposed to
To fund
be
the
$50,000 a year, and we haven't
Until-
done it for,
but
Well,
Ever.
it was $50,000 increasing to a total of
That's correct.
$250,000 per year, and we haven't
we
followed
haven't
that.
followed
Oh
it
my
for years.
word.
but the other thing is, I always thought the state, when they did the excise tax, I thought it would go to the roads and stuff. And I went on the state website, because I was saying, they're using our excise tax wrong, and I went through the whole state website trying to find, and
Not there.
no,
No,
Yes.
there's nothing
No.
specific that says you have to use it.
Can we change? No, no.
That would be,
Work.
that would either be charter or bylaws that would have to change in order to do that. But we have these policies that we're not following. So I think as we go through this season, we need to see if we can dig them out, if the department heads know of something that we're not following.
Mhm.
That's been defined. But
So when do you think we should set up our budget schedules to see people after January?
it's definitely after January, they're not supposed to be
Okay,
back in
so-
until the first week.
Okay, so from the 15th on, or whatever that date is.
Right, yeah, let's say
15th of what month?
January,
So when are their budgets due to be really?
January 1st.
first week,
First week.
back.
So what is our normal January meeting anyway?
We don't necessarily have a normal January.
Well, we should.
Yeah, we can set them up.
Let's set them up and get it over with.
Okay. So the week of,
So
first week in January, the department heads are supposed to have their budgets completed.
Correct.
policy, yeah. And
And
then,
that's policy. State policy, you're saying.
no,
Oh.
town policy.
Oh, town.
We meet, what, the 2nd and 4th?
We usually go second and fourth. So do we want to go every other, starting in January? Now, the other part we can do is we can have joint meetings, recommend joint meetings with Board of Selectmen, and we both speak to department heads at the same time.
I don't think we should. I think we should speak to them individually. Let them speak to them individually also. Then you sort of get two sides of
We get two sides.
sides
of
the
it.
story.
yeah, no,
I
I
agree.
agree,
Okay.
because you're right, you might get a
You never
different,
get a
Oh, you
story.
might get some kind of influence,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
I understand, I agree.
I don't think
It's like separating the thieves.
Oh, and fall town meeting is January 28th.
That really, yeah.
It's not even fall.
I mean, in daylight
yeah,
savings
I
time.
was
and
getting
a winter
confused
fall
when they were
meeting.
talking about the fall.
And then spring comes up pretty quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
What happened to winter?
I have no idea why we didn't, why didn't we have a
That's
fall
when the
meeting?
override's gonna come.
You don't certify your free cash until December, so you can't, usually the things you're doing are around free cash. In that time frame, so you get to have your free cash certified so that you can write your warrant articles for the use of that.
Oh, for the use of the free cash.
It's kind of like, so you can't really do it in October, November because free cash isn't certified yet. And we don't know where we are yet. One of the things that I believe they may be looking for is, no, sorry, different subject. That's our current budget, not certifying free cash for 2020.
Okay, so the first
So-
week in January, they have to tell us. I mean,
Well,
do we get them, or does the board
It's
of
the
selectmen
second,
get?
it's the second. is it-
We are going to ask that we get them at the same time or have access to them.
Wait a minute. I thought we said we didn't want to meet with them. We wanted to meet with the companies, the department separately.
Right.
We're just
yeah.
talking about getting the budget.
budget.
Getting
Just
the budget.
receive the
Having,
budget.
having the budget delivered to
Alright.
us.
Oh, yeah, we have to see it before we see that. We have to be
Right, we have
prepared.
to.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
All right, so we're gonna ask for the budget
yeah. Ask for the
first.
budget first week in January, simultaneously. Yeah, that's.
And it's not just copies of the budget, it's copies of all the supporting documentation, and details supporting the lines. Like when they have a line that says other, what is going
Or
on?
miscellaneous,
no,
miscellaneous is always my favorite.
Yeah.
Explain.
We want details
We want details.
supporting
The line, whatever it is. It's
Okay.
kind of like,
Line detail. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Now, Dawn, are you gonna write a letter to Nelson to
yeah.
put this all in
to
writing
try
of
to-
what?
To try to put it in writing, yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
so we want this, we want the budgets with details supporting line items.
And again, that's why I was going back to where I started with hard copies of it printed in
Mhm.
binders.
Oh, then we would create that.
No, they would create,
Oh,
so.
they would create it in hard
That's what
copy.
that's what I'm saying, it's kind of like, we don't want to, what you don't want to have is you don't want to lose control. If somebody gets a copy of a budget and it's an Excel file and they go in and they change something.
Oh,
okay,
I
yeah,
understand.
So-
manipulate the
Yeah.
file,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, or you do it by mistake, you open it up to look at it, you type something and. it was
Oh,
in-
no,
Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah.
1,000,000%, because, I've heard too many times in this actual building, oh, it was a mistake. Can't
Mhm.
possibly make all that many mistakes.
Well, it's.
I mean, you can make mistakes,
Right.
but
It's kind of, and those are the pieces that we
Yeah,
want to try to avoid.
I agree
So-
100%,
so,
so
yes,
in a
we want-
nice little binder.
Right.
Hard
Okay.
copies.
Like
Are
a
you-
nice
I
little
would-
3-inch binder.
Are
And
you
then-
doing a 3-inch binder?
It's gotta be.
It has to be a
When you
3.
think, when
Per
you,
hat, per department?
No.
no,
Oh.
Because if
per
you
person.
change a page, you rip that page out and you put a separate page in, but you don't have to reprint the whole thing.
so you can do change pages.
You can do.
Just change pages,
Pages.
not books.
Yeah,
Right.
So
Because
they're
what-
gonna give us their budget,
They-
we're
They
gonna
will
put it in
deliver
our
the budget.
binder.
But
Do we get our own binder, or are you gonna get?
Well, that's what I'm asking for the support is to, is to get the files, get copies of them printed, put it into a binder, separated by department, all of the files, budget first. details
You're asking
second.
Nelson to do all this?
you know,
That's where it's gonna come if he,
Okay.
Mhm.
it's kind of like, but
I could put it in binders for you.
Oh, he has an assistant, that's
Oh.
right. Oh, I forgot.
Right,
Oh, yeah, he
yeah,
has an
so-
assistant.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, Sabrina, oh.
yeah, so we're asking, and it's kind of like, but he, we're asking for support. It's kind of like, because we're not.
Because we're not,
No, because we don't
And
have
we
an
don't have any
assistant.
support.
I mean, we don't have a paid assistant.
We don't have a paid assistant
Yeah.
like some of the other boards,
Right, maybe we should have one.
maybe. It's kind of like,
Did we ever have one in the beginning? Like
Not-
10 or
not
11
100%.
years?
I mean, like a
For
Beth
some reason-
Baxton, like
I
a
got
Beth
it.
Baxton person.
For some reason, I think when I
Yeah,
started,
she does the planning board.
She
Right.
does a good job.
Yeah, she does a
Right,
really
I
good
mean, there
job.
are people that could
Yeah.
do good jobs.
She
I
does,
mean,
she does
you
do
know,
a good
kind of
job,
like,
it would be a stipend type. They would have to, you'd have to pay.
but she's like
Yeah.
a full-time employee though.
Right,
'cause
yeah, but
she's-
it doesn't have to be her, it could be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we're asking Nelson for the admin type
Okay,
support.
Hmm.
And take a look at it, because the finance committee isn't a paid position, and we don't have an admin support like other,
position, right,
yeah, I mean, like planning board has admin support.
right,
Board of Health has admin support.
correct.
We don't have admin support, so we're asking for admin support.
Will it have to come out of our budget, our money budget?
No, I don't think so,
No,
but if it,
no.
does, there's a little bit there.
We do have a little bit,
I know, but it should come from
all right,
wherever it comes from.
Mm.
Well, no, it should be part of the administrative
deal,
support for
okay,
the committee.
all right.
Well, whatever it takes to put the budget together for the town,
Mhm.
Mhm.
however that's
Yeah.
paid for, that should be where it comes from, so.
And that's what we're hoping
Okay.
for, that it's done. Okay,
So we
so,
need binders.
we're looking for hard copies of it with binders, the admin support to do.
How many
it
binders do we
and
need?
updo.
4. No,
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's actually,
Oh, 6,
I'd like to do-
Sam.
and then we should do 7, yeah.
It-
7.
Dave is, yeah, it's kind of like this.
7 copies.
Oh, Dave, yeah.
Yeah,
Dave.
1, 2, Dave, 3, 4, 5, Sam, 6,
Andrew,
Andrea,
Andrea, 7. So we need
Is
7.
that a full board for us?
that's a full board for us.
Oh, we can't squeeze anybody else on?
Could we do a, what do they call
Associate?
it? Associate?
I don't
No,
see
it's-
anything, you can ask for a bylaw.
Oh, someone spoke.
Over the last dozen years, it's been impossible to get all 7 filled.
That's right, yeah, it's been a long time since we've had 7, so,
Sam.
thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
It kind of, but you're right, it's kind of like, it's been a long time since we've had 7 assigned, so. But anybody,
So 7 binders.
seven binders, and if we have somebody that's interested that wants to join us during budget season, we can make copies of the files that we'll review one at the time. When we're here.
Okay.
But
So
not-
that's the
not
letter
with
you're gonna send to Nelson?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have to vote on that, or is that just administrative?
I think it's just administrative that, you know, we want to get the input to him. I just want to make sure that, you know, that everybody had a chance to speak on.
And then Jerry, you want, after we get the binder,
Right,
then we have meetings with the individual heads in
Correct.
person,
correct,
Right.
separate from the board of select.
correct.
Okay.
So,
But we can add them to our meeting, and do you want to add capital plan at the same time, or not? I mean, that would eliminate a step.
we can do that. We can start with a joint capital planning
In
and
finance.
finance. And then when capital planning is done, then we just continue with
The
the.
finance, okay. That would make it easier. Then they only have to make one trip in. We only have to make one trip in.
But I'm not on campus.
Well, you can show up anyway, they're public meetings.
Oh, okay.
But you can, yeah, and you can be there as finance if we're doing joint meetings.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
the whole.
Okay, I see.
everything is public meeting, and we're,
Right, yeah, open meeting law says everything is open, so it's kind of like, so,
anybody wants to show up, show up.
I
We
wish
never
people
have
would
that
show up.
problem.
Now, I know, it's like a secret society. So if, let's just say a resident shows up, at
They
one of
can
our
sit right
finance,
here.
and they can sit right here.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to ask a question of a
That's up to,
department
that's up
head?
to the chair.
that's up to the chair.
Uh-huh.
It has always been my position that people can ask, people from the audience
As
can
long
ask
as they
questions.
don't get off the,
Yeah, we try to stay on subject. If we're too far off subject, we try to,
Right, so you would just
right, yeah. it's
hurry
kind of
them
like-
back
so
onto the
I've
track.
even done people online. that-
Yeah,
That's right.
because I think that would be a nice thing for us to get what residents are thinking. I mean, it's their money.
Right.
It's our money too, but it's not the department head's money, it's the people's
Mhm.
money. So if they did come, I do think it would be nice to
Oh,
address them.
absolutely.
Because the board of
That-
selectmen won't let you talk,
Mm.
remember?
Yeah.
They said no.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, no.
nobody
you can have them
It's kinda
sign
like-
in
but
with a
that-
name and phone number, and, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it'd be-
No, because they could call in to this
They can
meeting.
They can
call
get
in, but-
to this, if they want to come in on Zoom. I personally like to come into me. I think you get a better feel for people when you're looking right at them.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mm.
now.
that's why I always like personal
Me
meetings
too.
rather
Yeah.
than
I
Zoom
do too.
meetings.
Right, but, yeah, it's something that we've been open to, but when we're speaking with a department head, it might be questions just from the finance
Mhm.
committee
Right,
Oh,
at that point.
Mhm.
but I think I like the, meeting with the department head. You get a different feel than
Right.
somebody telling you, well, this is what they want, you know?
Mhm.
Why, you know?
Yeah.
It's
no, I
like a
agree
letter
with
to
you.
Santa,
Right,
and then, okay, here's your wish list, and
Yeah.
then what do you really need?
yeah.
So, trying to look to see where.
So are we doing the second and
We do.
fourth, that ideal? Because I think the selectmen are the
First and third,
first and third, so we do, so the 14th would be,
okay, yeah, so it would be 14 and 28 in January.
14 and 28.
So, the 28th is town meeting. Should we meet, could we
Oh.
meet in the morning early and then like we did today and then,
That sort of excludes Dave, and
oh, okay,
depending
so,
on whether.
all right.
It may exclude Sam.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, we can,
Do we,
we should
14th
know.
and
we
28th.
haven't
know.
seen warrants yet, we should,
Okay.
again, we could do Thursday, the 23rd.
At 6?
At 6, to go over warrant.
Okay.
For 23,
At 6 o'clock or in the afternoon?
We need Dave.
I would have to come at night,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
unless we came early in the morning. I mean, like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Like
Hmm.
6?
Well, I could do 6, actually. I could be here at 6.
I can,
I can too.
the doors aren't open.
So the 14th for sure at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
The 23rd at 6 o'clock.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because we want to go over the warrant before
We
that.
wanna, yeah, we wanna make sure we're prepared for town meeting in the warrant.
When is the town meeting again?
28th.
28th.
Is this where we're gonna make recommendations? on the
That's
warrant
kind of
articles?
early.
Yeah.
That's too tight, isn't it?
What choice do we have? When
It
does
gives
the
us
warrant close?
Yeah, good question.
The warrant closes 2 weeks before, so it closes on the 14th.
So we'll have it on the 14th.
Well, I guess we don't have any choice.
Right, but then, so we wanna see the warrant articles earlier than that, so we wanna see it when they're ready.
So.
So when you say closes, that means the department heads have all their stuff in.
It,
Wow.
as far as warrants, it's kinda like, it's. What? The warrant, the closing of the warrant says you can't make any more changes to articles on the warrant.
Oh,
For the town
so we could have it in advance
As a draft,
as a
As a
draft,
draft.
right, to work off
Fine.
of.
yeah.
And if there's a change,
Then we have to deal with the change.
and when does the change?
It has to be done by the 14th, by the 14th.
So,
So Board of Selectmen will likely have a meeting that night too.
Okay, wait, I'm confused. So the warrant comes in before the 14th. But it's not,
Right, it's not.
Oh, they're gonna have a meet, well, we can meet downstairs then, we don't have to meet up
you
here.
know,
We can
and-
meet in this,
and
When-
if,
when do they
and-
have to have their budgets so that the warrant gets created?
I thought he said they have to, by the 14th,
They have to be
No, he's
finished
saying
from-
it closes on the 14th.
oh, it's 2 weeks ahead.
2 weeks. So if we get a draft of the,
We need a
or,
draft,
if we get a draft,
Just a grant, yeah.
just a draft,
yes.
we could work on looking at it and coming up with it either recommendations or explanations or
Or
some-
if you vote yes, this, if you vote no, this,
right.
kind of thing, not necessarily that.
Or we could say, we recommend or don't recommend for the following reasons, you know, this is whatever,
Right.
or we don't
We
agree.
need to get that information out to the residents of the town prior to the meeting. And not the day of the meeting. How
But-
else can I know?
I know, there's so many people clueless in this
Well,
town.
it's close because we don't give them the information.
I know my daughter said, fine, you should have a Facebook page. I don't do
I don't,
Facebook.
I don't either.
If my daughter says, I'll do the Facebook page, but you should put, and I'm like, what are we putting out there?
Well,
Yeah,
the
but
thing
still,
is,
I think the
you get
Facebook
people
thing
like-
is starting to wane. I think it needs to go to McNabb's, Hannaford's, certain places, a
library,
little pamphlet, the library, the
Yeah.
senior citizen library, where people will go and pick things up. This Facebook thing, I don't,
well, people get so cranky on Facebook, I mean, they
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
they
yeah.
pick at everything.
Oh, yeah,
don't wanna
I
hear
hate, I don't even go on
you don't want
Facebook.
to hear what they have to say, you
No.
want to just give them the information.
Right.
Right.
It's not a dialogue.
Yeah, so if we can get the draft as soon as we can get
Well,
the
the
draft,
draft is,
we can at least work on,
the draft is on the second, right?
Recommendations or
Is it
whatever.
the second? That's what I've got I've got the,
Ooh, are they gonna,
so is that 2 weeks? One, two, it is second.
So the 2nd of December you're talking about though, right?
Right, yeah.
So-
And then I've got the board of directors, the next board of, oh, who's BOD? That's us. Down to, at the Reed House.
Sure.
When are we meeting with the board of, when are we meeting with the, department heads?
Well,
Would-
that's
it'll
what we
be-
have to just set up
Right,
in
that's
January,
what we
February, March.
That's what
So we need to do that. We'll probably meet at least once a week after that.
Okay, so we don't have to meet with them before this
No,
delivery of the budget.
no.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
the delivery
Okay,
letter
so we
goes
get
out.
the budget, so
Okay,
we get the budget delivered to us simultaneously with Nelson getting it, or however, and
Right, yeah.
then January 14th, what happens?
Well, January 14th would be our first meeting in January. And so we can, do we want
Should
to,
we schedule someone in?
we can either schedule something in or we can, we can schedule somebody in, for the.
But how are we gonna know who it is if we
Why
don't
don't
have
we-
the budgets in advance? Or does it
Well,
matter?
no, they should have their budgets in by,
no, we're good, we're good.
First week.
we can,
First week of January,
First, they're gonna
that's
have the
what we're
budget.
gonna have
So
the
the
fun.
first week of January, we can go over to Nelson and say, we wanna see the budgets, we want the budget.
Well, those are the binders, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the
We wanna have
binders
the
we want?
Oh, so the binders will be on the first week of
but
January.
you know whose budget's really easy to do the first one is Kathy. Her budget always is very easy.
The town clerk,
Yeah.
and then you could be done with it and have one off the list.
Yeah,
Check
exactly.
one
Well,
off the list.
but it gives us,
Gives us time, gives her time.
right,
Mhm.
it's kind of like,
Yeah,
Okay, so the first week of January, we get the binder.
Yeah.
So by the 14th, we'll well know what
What's in it?
what they want.
Well, we'll know on the 7th what they want because the Board of Selectmen meet on the 7th.
Okay.
That'll be pretty, they have a lot of, they probably have something to say about it, would
they may at that point, yeah, so it kind of.
so.
Yeah, but they don't make the decision, do they?
Oh,
Mhm.
occasionally they, yes,
Mhm.
that's why we have to have our backup in place.
They make a decision about whether or not the money's gonna go to a department? Doesn't the
Yeah,
town
they-
make that
They
decision?
can,
Well, the selectmen proposed the
they
budget
propose.
at town meeting, and then the town votes on it at town meeting. So yes, in essence, the town approves what the selectmen.
But we're talking about April town meeting, not December town meeting, not the
Right,
fall town
yeah,
meeting.
so.
We're talking about
So
Right.
this fall town meeting is
Is the
something
whole
else.
other
The fall town meeting is just,
Oh.
cleaning up the mess that we're
Clean-
already.
Oh,
right, I mean, there may be an article, a warrant article presented that's gonna put money into a budget, that may-
oh, so the fall one is not
The fall
what
one
this
is not the
budget is
budget.
about?
No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
it's
cause
kinda
I'm
like-
thinking to myself, oh my God, you have like 2 weeks to do this, and
No,
Yeah.
an afternoon to pull it
Yeah,
together?
no,
Okay.
no, that's, you know, the budgets, the budgets that we're looking at are in preparation for the May 7th or
Yeah.
Oh.
Aren't they gonna do the
or the first week
override
of May.
for the
Yeah, first Tuesday
28th?
in May's meeting.
I don't think there's gonna be an override.
for the school?
I don't know,
Is- I thought-
they don't have time to bring one up.
Well, they kept saying about
I
the
know they
fall.
talked about it, but there's not enough time.
Okay.
Is there?
Okay, so
I
that's,
don't know.
Well, they could make it a warrant article on the fall.
On the floor?
Not on the floor. You can't bring something up on the floor. If they're going,
I
if
thought
it's
they
going,
needed so many
you,
weeks.
there's two processes. You can have a vote first, or you can have a
Oh, okay.
town meeting first. If you have a town meeting first that says, yes, we want to go for an override, then
Would that be on fall town meeting? And
Could be.
bring it forward to,
That's what they kept saying at the,
They did
at the
say that
school,
they were
at
gonna
the
do it
school,
on the
at
fall.
that school, and
Yeah.
they kept, and I
Yeah.
kept saying fall, and I'm thinking, it's already fall,
right, yeah.
not realizing they call the fall meeting.
January.
In January.
You
And it
can
was
call it
confusing.
special town meeting anytime, but the normal one is called fall to try to make corrections, mid-course adjustments to.
Okay,
And that's what this would be, but if it's possible that if somebody wants to put an override vote out, then they could certainly do it. In a warrant article, we would,
have you heard anything about how we are doing with the deficit? If we're on track?
I have not, I asked the question the other day, we don't have the numbers right now to.
Okay,
when did you think they'll have the numbers?
They'll have to have them.
well, when's
by
the
the end of
state,
December.
they have to
The
have,
state-
a-
the state
January
wants-
1st.
The state wants to see it by December, see what the numbers were
Oh,
through
okay.
December, so. We have to see that. There was a delay in a little bit of the first deposits getting in, so now that we have it, we'll ask for the numbers and see if we can
And
start.
the deposits are all automatic, right? They just get however.
Right, yeah, when the,
When I buy my bag, so much goes to waste management and the rest goes to the town.
well, the whole.
Sure.
the
Waste
whole-
management.
okay,
Well, that's where the bags come from.
The bag,
Stop it.
the weighs zero.
Is that
Waste
true?
zero, all right, waste
Oh,
zero.
waste zero.
Um,
Okay, waste,
Wow.
It's a little word. It's gonna-
okay, it's a little word, gets you into trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna,
So we have our due date for, we're gonna get the first week in January, the budget.
right,
Our little, our binders.
we're gonna get our little, yeah,
So Jerry, you wanna start seeing people?
on the 14th.
On the
first.
14th,
On the
I think we
14th.
should see, let's see Kathy.
You wanna see the clerk or
Town clerk.
clerk?
Okay, town clerk. on
You
the
know, and
14th.
I'll tell you who I wanna see next is, Parks and Cemetery.
Parks and Cemetery?
Yeah. On the 23rd, we could do them on the 23rd. What do you think, Don?
We can certainly do them on the 23rd
Okay.
and then move them into.
You've been moving in February?
But,
Is it one person per meeting?
well,
Well, we could do
that's,
two.
we're gonna have to step it up to probably 3 per.
Well, can't
per
Parks
meeting.
and Cemetery come with the town clerk?
Town clerk and Parks and Cemetery come together, yeah.
Okay, so they come on the 14th.
Yeah, we'd give them, 20 minutes, a half an hour at the most.
Yeah,
Mhm.
20 minutes
Because-
is enough.
I think so.
Because we will have seen their budget.
right, and if the details, if the
Hopefully.
information's in the budget, if it's not, if the details we're looking for aren't in the budget, we can ask them to come back.
Right.
That's right,
They
that's
kinda-
right.
So-
Yeah.
So those,
So who
There-
else would be a quick one? Who else does it right? Okay.
well,
All right. Well, I guess we just pick
also-
anybody next.
it's kind of like, and those are the pieces, we're gonna,
What other small departments do we
Well,
have?
why don't
Well,
we do, highway,
assessors, treasurers.
assessor, treasurer, all right, let's put those together, Don.
You
let's
want
see.
assessor and treasurer together?
Assessor,
And
treasurer.
tax collector, that,
Okay, so is that the 14th? Wait a minute, I'm confused.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so-
yeah, it's the 14th, yes.
So you're doing the town clerk and the park and cemetery on the 14th.
Right,
And you want to do the assessor treasurer on the 14th too?
we could,
Okay.
Do all three?
yeah. We'll give them a time
They're kind of all
slot.
connected, aren't they? Assessor, tax collector, and
and
treasurer.
accountant,
Tax,
yeah,
tax.
so tax collector,
So those are all gonna be on the 14th of January.
January, okay. So we got
That's
assessor,
three.
treasurer, tax
Mhm.
collector, town clerk, park and
So on,
cemetery.
on
Hmm.
January 23rd,
Okay,
audit committee has to get its plugins, yeah,
is there an audit committee?
yeah,
okay,
it's kind of like.
okay. So on the 23rd, who do you wanna do?
Who's left?
Well, you got fire, highway, police, EMS,
What about like the land use office?
land
and,
use.
Do
Do we have to see like do we see the building department, the gas inspector, the fence viewer and all?
What
those
about the
people?
rec department?
Well, that's under building inspector, yeah.
Let's do the rec department on the 23rd.
Okay,
So we'll do rec.
we could do another one on the
Do you want to do
23rd.
fire or do the police report?
Theirs are pretty lengthy,
Oh, they are.
yeah.
Yeah, I would think the fire and the police would be kind of
If
lengthy.
you're doing it, I'd probably do it,
When, like,
maybe we look at big and little rat, or the little ones might be.
or do you want to do like land use with the rec department? I
Well,
mean,
that could be,
because they're tiny, I mean, they're not,
yeah,
they're
yeah, all
not
right.
much.
Is conservation a department?
Okay. Yes, they have.
Well, we should do
they
that.
have
Should we
Land
do
use,
all
right?
three?
Yeah.
Is that conservation in there too or not?
I guess.
Well,
Sure.
land use, conservation and zoning.
And rec.
Oh,
I
zoning.
don't know, I don't
Or
know,
the-
I don't know if zoning has a budget, it's kind of like,
Land
like
use,
that, isn't it, the
conservation,
committee?
it's kind of, so,
so can we put recreation with land use and?
Or do you want to just do land use conservation? because they kind of go together.
They kind of go.
So we-
Oh, you know what else we need? And I think maybe we could do that too, was, planning board.
Do we have
That's
a
a
budget?
board.
They have a budget.
Oh, they have a budget?
Do we?
Planning has a budget.
Oh,
Yeah,
there must be,
So
a-
why don't we put them all together, group that?
Yeah, because we have admin.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we do, so,
Because there's admin.
there is salaries there, so,
Right,
so we want to do the planning board, land use office and conservation
yeah, I
office.
think that's
Okay.
good,
Okay, so that'll be the 23rd.
right.
so recreation gets pushed to February.
Yeah, we can put some to February.
Okay,
The ele-
Is fire EMS separate from fire
Yeah, but you
department?
know what, you should, no, fire EMS and fire are more or less together, and then you have police. So it's all public, sort of like public safety, but they really need their own, it's not a 10-minute.
no,
they're-
those budgets, so fire
What
should be
about
its
the,
own.
what about the
Police
highway
should be its
department?
own.
Should we
But-
do them like in half an hour segments, or do you want to,
I think.
you want
we
to
can-
separate them totally,
Or
Don?
do we want
I
to look
think
at
we
their
want-
budget first and figure out what?
Well,
to
yeah,
do?
We
that's-
should have
that's
their
gonna be-
budget by then.
Right, it's kind of like, but those are the pieces, I think what we wanna do is police or fire, and then together, because they have communications.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Police, fire. So,
And then fire, then,
So we should wait on, to see their budgets before we
it
schedule them?
it
Why don't
could,
we put those
I
towards
mean,
the end, the fire police? Do we have anybody else before the fire police, highway
Well,
department?
Highway
Highway.
department,
You want to do
recreation,
highway?
we do water?
yeah,
no, we don't, but
No,
we
because
can-
they have their
you know what,
water.
We should have them in, we should invite them. We kind of, they can come in, they do their own budget, and then
then they
generally.
just said that we have to go through it anyway.
Right. We'll go
We have to
through it, but-
okay.
Oh,
it
okay,
to
so why don't
say-
we do recreation, highway and water
On the what?
on the first February meeting?
I guess the 11th.
The 11th of February.
And then we
Okay.
have to split the fire department and the,
The fire department and the police have to go separate, and then they go together.
well, then we,
Right, so we want them, it's gonna be a long meeting, but because communication crosses both boundaries,
Yeah, we need that on the 25th.
so what about the EMS, is that separate?
No, that goes with fire.
Oh, okay,
it's fire EMS.
oh, okay, so that's one, you're gonna use that for one meeting.
I think so, I think, it's a long meeting, but.
So now we're into March.
Well, wait a
I
minute,
know.
no,
And that's the piece, it's kind of like, now you're past.
well,
when
no,
the
let's
budget's
go
gonna
back
be.
up to the 11th,
Okay, so the
And
11th
that's where the Saturday
11th of
budget,
what?
February.
February.
so,
So let's do fire EMS,
You want to do fire EMS on 11 February?
yeah,
And what about
and,
the recreation?
and wait a minute, and give them 40 minutes, and then have, no, not recreation there, and then,
Take recreation off of that?
yeah, and then put police under fire EMS, and then it's kind of a combination of together, so communication, so that's a one-nighter.
So, okay,
Oh,
so
you're
get
gonna
rid
do
of,
everybody?
And that's same night, because they are connected,
all right, so on February 11th, we're just gonna do fire EMS and then police.
yeah, and then their communication
I
is
thought you
done
said that
together.
that was a long meeting.
That's the only thing we probably will do that night.
And then we're gonna do highway, water and rec
Is
on the
communication-
25th?
Yeah,
Okay,
On what day?
25th,
The recreation, highway and,
water and rec. Is there anything else done?
Yeah.
How about
Um,
things like the Samara?
oh, yeah.
See, this is when we start getting into, once you hit February, you're gonna start getting into double meetings. Because you're gonna say, oh, there was so.
Yeah, sometimes what we have
Okay.
done in the past is a Tuesday meeting, and then,
The Thursday.
or, well, the Thursday, like when
maybe we should schedule
when it's
those
a board,
now and
when a
do
board of
these
selectmen.
in-person things like that, instead of waiting 2 weeks to do them.
Well, it's,
They come here, we don't have to go
No, I
there.
understand that, but
It's up to you. I mean, it's up to,
so
well,
if we did, what, the January 14th and the
so if we
16th?
get, if
Right,
we're already out
what
to
I'd
the,
recommend
okay.
then
When-
is, instead of having 2 in a week, the week, so like, the 21st, the week of the 21st, which is a Board of Selectmen meeting, 2 days later, on the Thursday, we meet
on the 23rd,
on the 23rd.
we've got that down.
Yeah, we're meeting there anyway because of
Right.
the, fall.
Well, you didn't,
But that way, we're only meeting once a week, and it alternates between Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, well, that's all
You
right.
know, But it's every week rather than twice
Okay,
a week. I know sometimes we've gone twice a week.
No, that's
when
not
we meet
right.
on-
Oh, is the 23rd the next week after the 14th?
It is,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then the 11th?
no, no.
right.
And then,
The 28th.
28th is town meeting.
Town meeting,
And then the
Oh,
30th.
oh.
then,
Oh,
Are we
what are we
meeting on
doing on the
30th?
30th?
I don't know, we'll figure it out.
Okay,
Oh, are we having a meeting on 30th?
Well, because you're running it, now you're running into February, and you want to be done by the end of
Well-
February, sort of.
Well, we're not gonna
okay,
be.
so the finance, so tentatively on the
Uh-oh.
30th, we're gonna have one at 6 PM again?
Yeah,
or do you wanna make it the 7th
7th?
of February? It's kind of,
does it make any difference?
well,
The 7th is a
it doesn't,
Friday?
it just gets you from 2 in the, you know,
Okay, that's up to you, I don't care.
I just don't wanna
All right, so we,
burden everybody with.
all right, so you want to
two
go
meetings
to
in
the, what day did you say, Don? The
I was
6th?
thinking that, February
Sixth.
7th,
That's a
Instead of
Friday?
That's a Friday.
that's Friday? Then
Yeah,
it's the
6,
Sorry.
okay.
Oh, 31, I was, yeah, it's kind of like, I miscounted my,
Your days.
Instead of the 11th?
no.
Instead
in-
of the
in addition.
30th.
So we're going,
Yep, I see.
so the
Now we have
Board
to
of Selectmen
reschedule.
will meet on the 4th, we're gonna meet on the 6th. So the weeks they're meeting on Tuesday, we're gonna meet on the Thursday. And then we're gonna have a budget summit probably the first weekend in March, which would be the 8th. So we may want to start,
Does, under, who are those
No,
people?
this isn't working out.
Under, oh my God. Well, guys, department, where's Janet work?
Building.
Building
Building,
department.
yeah.
So does gas and electric and fence viewing and, does that all come under one,
it's under building commission.
it's under building commission? So we
Yeah.
need to bring them in.
And they'll hit all.
Because
those
sometimes they
budgets.
change, I mean, they didn't change their budget for 6 years, and the next year they went up $100. I mean, so, I mean, they're not really,
Most
Well,
of,
will we
most of
have
the
to
other
meet with
positions are on
everybody?
stipends.
I think we probably just meet with Bob and he'll,
Right,
No, but I mean, do we have to meet with all the departments? If they-
yeah, absolutely, if they have a budget, we should meet with them, unless it's,
those are the pieces, maybe what we do is we look at the one, the important, the police, fire, and those, and highway, and those are the ones we bring in on the Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then the smaller ones
Yeah.
we do on the budget summit. And just, you
oh, the
know,
budget, okay.
talk to assessors on the budget
But
summit.
don't you think we should bring, building department in, because we don't really know what's coming down the pike on them either.
We don't, no, so, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is let's identify the ones we wanna bring in.
So you're
Well, we
saying
really need to
police,
bring in fire, EMS,
Fire,
and
EMS.
police and communication, but they really need to be together.
Right.
Don't
And
you
then
think?
you think,
But,
Yeah, because they do
and then
have
the other part
equipment.
is, if we're asking them to do capital at the same time, is that gonna be too much for a single meeting?
Well,
It's kinda like, it'll be a long one, but,
well, we can't, if we find it's getting too long, we'll have to skip to capital and they'll have to show up again.
Mhm.
I mean, we could go with plan A and plan B, I guess, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna be seeing the budgets ahead of time. So I guess if we had questions,
We could ask then.
we could ask them.
Yeah.
Or if something looks out of whack,
Right,
or they didn't explain other, or
Right.
miscellaneous, then,
yeah, miscellaneous is always my favorite.
and we could just tell them, you know, you need to come back and explain in writing. Even
writing.
if they explain it to us at the meeting, what other means, then we need to ask them to put that in writing.
Yeah, and the other sentence I found useful, though last year didn't seem to work out, was, is there anything else you're gonna ask for?
Oh, okay.
but what if they say no and then they do?
Well, that's a problem. That's a big
Well,
problem.
the Board of Selectmen shouldn't allow that.
No, and neither should we.
No, we shouldn't for sure, but
I mean, we're the recommending body. I mean,
correct,
the
advisory.
advisory body.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's only so much money,
Exactly. I mean, and this year it's pretty little.
and yes, it's very little
So everybody needs to tighten their
belt.
belt. Get some messages out there, now tighten your belt.
Tighten belt.
What do you think, Don?
I bought a new one and let it out. Right, my budget's pretty tight.
So is mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're all
This
on.
is the thing, I mean, how much do we spend on taxes
Oh, and then-
as residents, you know, for what we're getting?
Well, we've got,
I
Well,
mean,
and
remember,
that-
we
see,
don't have
that's
a lot of
something-
services in this
so
town.
that, exactly. So
Yeah.
this is something we need to think
And
about.
I think so very seriously,
No,
you know, this is.
we're not the only,
it's not-
we're not the only town in this boat.
Oh,
There's
no.
many.
No.
No, exactly, it's kind of like in the, you know, the schools.
you know,
Yeah, but we can't
Okay.
blame schools for everything. It's not all their
Oh,
fault.
I think we
No.
should blame.
No.
but
Who are we gonna blame?
but, no, it's not all their fault, but they have a huge
Well,
budget.
their problem is,
Well, they're
the
not getting
state.
funding,
They're not
funding
getting
for the
funding.
state. No.
See, that's the other thing.
And I didn't realize till that meeting that they haven't got an increase in 24
Okay,
years.
okay, that's, yes, but the schools have not got an increase. The school's budget that they get funding from the state is based on the number of students. The
Okay.
number of students is 25% lower today than it was at their budget that they showed us.
Oh,
It
really?
said the initial, yes.
but why do you think that is?
Why do I think the students are down?
Why, yeah, what do you
They're
think?
going to vote tax,
Well,
Yeah.
and they're
well,
going to charter schools.
the- It,
and there's nothing here to draw families to come.
it,
There's
with,
no
You're
industry.
absolutely 100%.
The only industry we have, we
You're
have
100%.
a nice big industry, and we have several
Right.
small ones,
So-
but that's it.
yeah, so,
So we better start thinking about it, because now we don't have any hospitalization for maternity within 15 miles. How many young families are gonna come here and have kids?
You don't have good schools, you don't have, people.
Right, so-
If you don't have
families
kids, you don't have a good school.
You know, people are selling their houses, more people are moving in from further away because the prices are more
What do you mean
reasonable.
by
Okay, those-
who's coming? Are they empty nesters or are they,
and-
Not-
new
and that's the
families?
piece. We need those demographics, we have.
The,
to-
Yeah.
the
And
people
we don't
that,
know where they're coming from.
but the people that I've
It's kinda-
seen buying new houses in Timberley Park tend to be younger with kids.
and that was before they closed the maternity ward in.
Well, yeah,
Understood.
but, I mean, it's still,
Carol, think about having a baby and having to go 50 miles in the
well,
winter.
yeah.
I mean, come on,
I'd be
that-
living, I'd be living at the hospital because.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
We're,
We're
yeah,
off track.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's important to know this.
it is, it's kind of like, all of those are important
Factors.
pieces of
Yeah.
where we're going. So I'm gonna say that we have definitely, we've thrown out dates, we'll try to put the schedule together and ask the council.
And you'll post,
so that
you'll
they-
post this for Kathy.
I'll post the times, yeah.
Can we post that far ahead, I hope? I know the selectmen have, because we were sitting at their
We
meeting.
we can do the dates, but
Couple of
we
months.
can't do, you know, it's the agenda, so we can put the dates out there and say we got the dates, but as far as posting it,
Oh, I don't think we'll have a hard time coming up with agendas.
no, but it's kind of like, if coming up today with an agenda for out there.
Yeah, we just couldn't do that.
It's kind of like, so I'll ask Kathy if we can post sort of
Pre-agenda.
a pre-agenda.
Yeah, because
It's
some of your
gonna
stuff is
be
gonna stay the same, and we know
Right.
which somebody's coming in on such and such a date, so.
Hmm.
You know, isn't there a caveat on the agenda that says, you know, things can change?
But only within the last 48 hours, if we didn't know about it. So
Okay.
we have to be very careful.
I see what you're, yeah, okay, I get that.
I see
What do you need?
it's being recorded, so, I see Sam still there, but it's kind of,
Sam is, over on yours?
I'm not hearing him, but,
I'm here.
yep, okay, got you. We plugged some things back in. We lost it. Sorry.
Oh, at least I can finally hear you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, before I could hear, but it was, not everything was legible. Audible. I should say.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. So we have the dates. We'll get them posted. We'll see what we can do about agendas and all that. Okay.
Oh, yes, I've been looking, I've been all over the state.
Okay, sorry. So, we'll get the information out. We'll get the information to Nelson.
Yeah, when you get it all finalized, all the things discussed at the end of the whatever, February, whenever, then just please, keep an eye on the emails and keep an eye out for your name and punch in and read
Yeah.
everything you send.
Okay,
And that's how I managed to get the meeting for today
Mm.
instead of 6 p.m. tonight. So I could
okay.
read it. Thank you.
Netflix.
So at this point, we will accept a motion to adjourn at 12:13 p.m.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second it.
and roll call vote.
Gerald Rodriguez, yes?
Carol
Jim
Hofstas,
Churchill, yes.
and Carol Hofstas, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. We stand adjourned
At what time was
Thank
it?
you.
at 12:13.